you for Christmas.
Yeah?
Quiet on set.
Why?
Phones on silent.
Mine, it's on silent.
You wish you could take everything to your office. Why never show them the radio in your office when we leave you? That would have been perfect for a pic right here.
Quiet on set.
Oh, where's the stress? So we're late.
Good afternoon, viewers and listeners in Jamaica and around the world. CARIMAC is proud, very proud, to welcome you to our observance of World Radio Day 2025. I'm Kimiko Scott, coordinator of the journalism program here at CARIMAC, and we are going to have an engaging, fun afternoon, I promise. It's part of our World Radio Day celebration, first observed in 2012 when the UNESCO General Council decided we are going to observe World Radio Day. Reason behind it is to raise awareness and shine a light on the work that radio is able to do in bridging the gaps between communities, making sure that folks in rural and urban areas have information across the world, bridging gaps and making sure that people have educated and informative knowledge and use that they can add to their lives. Of course, World Radio Day reminds us that the medium is still relevant and connecting communities, promoting freedom of expression, as well as acting as a lifeline during emergencies and disasters. As part of CARIMAC's celebration today, I have the absolute pleasure of engaging in conversation with three broadcasters of varied and vast experience. Their introductions today are going to highlight their radio careers, but trust our conversation is going to get a little more in-depth in terms of where broadcasting took them. Firstly, a radio and television broadcaster who celebrated 50 years in the industry in 2024. She's a former CARIMAC lecturer, she's a director, an actress, an orator, and a friend and mentor in this space. Let's welcome Faye Ellington.
Thank you, Kimiko.
Lovely
Great
to have
be
you.
here.
And also we have with us Patria K. Charles. She is a former radio and television presenter and producer, CARIMAC graduate, marketing maven, and she's going to be spending some time with us. Thank you for being here.
Thank you so much for having me.
And Raymond Price as well is with us, straight up host. That's the name of the show on News Talk 93 FM here on campus. He's also a presenter at CVM Sunrise and a parliamentarian at one point. Yes. We have him. Let's welcome him as well to the show. Thank you for being here.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
It's good that we get to engage in these conversations. Our objective today is really primarily to expose our students here at CARIMAC and across the country to the opportunities that come from a broadcasting career. World Radio Day this year, the theme is climate change and radio. Our focus is also highlighting the opportunities and path that is possible for our students who seem to perhaps be locked into the idea that broadcasting is one-dimensional. We're changing that today with our guests and our conversation. Thanks so much for being here.
Sure,
Let's start with entry into broadcasting and radio broadcasting. So for me, even though my mother had like 30 years radio experience, there was the 10-week radio course. There was a demo CD that was produced with a commercial, a newscast that went out to numerous radio stations and in hopes that you would get an opportunity to probably be auditioned further. What was your entry into radio like, Faye?
I want to make a point because you mentioned climate change
Yes,
just before I
of
come
course.
to my entry. That radio played a very significant role for farmers across Jamaica and across the region and on the continent of Africa. And also it was a great company. So my entry in radio before the formal entry was listening to a radio with a battery that was almost the size of a car battery now.
Yes.
And you could pick up stations from Cuba, from Cincinnati, from Russia, seriously, in the hills of Clarendon. That was my introduction to radio. So that for me was very important. And I'm not certain if that is why I ended up there, because I went to theater school first. Then I spent a year in the prisons. Yes, I served time as a cultural and recreational officer. And then got frustrated with the rehabilitation program, or the way it was being run. And I left, and then I went home and thought, oh my God, but I don't have an Elon Musk or anybody like that to help me. I still have to work. So one of my lecturers, the late Leonie Forbes, was running the Radio 2, or JBC FM, Jamaica Broadcasting Corporation. I reached out to her and I said, look, I need to work, thinking that I was going to work behind the scenes.
Yes, that she would give you a little off
behind
position.
the scenes. Well, she spoke with the late Dennis Hall, who at the time was chief announcer, and he pulled me in to do an audition for radio. Classical names, death announcements, newscasts, weather, commercial, all kinds of things. So I did that. The frightening part is when he said, come little one. And
it was live?
Live? No, audition to be
Okay,
recorded.
recorded.
But that was the audition. But then there was an interview, or there were 3 interviews overall. That and the final one was with the big wigs in the station. You know, and I remember being asked, like, what if you're at the airport covering the arrival of a head of state and you heard an explosion? What would you say? Thank God for my training in theater. I didn't say that. I'd say the man was shot, because you don't know if anybody was shot.
Yeah.
So that, and then 3 months of on-air training.
Yes. Yes.
Before you went on air to say, and when I was given the opportunity, it was to say something like this. This is the Jamaica Broadcasting Corporation. It's now 5 o'clock. That's all.
Continuity announcements.
For about 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And then the next one was, this is the Jamaica Broadcasting Corporation. It's whatever it is. Time for music from the Green Antilles. One program did really name so. I speak 2 languages here, Jamaican and English. And then spent time there, and the Jamaica Broadcasting Corporation had quite an association with the British Council. And through that, I got a scholarship to go to the BBC to study, but not presentation, radio production. People didn't know that's not presentation.
So it wasn't
and so my love for things like teaching a documentary, and you know, so that was how I started. But there is something I want to mention that doesn't seem to happen anymore. Your on-air period was always monitored by your seniors or by the program manager.
Yes.
And so if something went wrong, you could look up at the glass, and based on what the face looked like, or what the technical operator, as we call them, then said to you in the break, you know, go see your program director, or whatever it is. Or it could be a smile. I remember the morning with Algic Harbies in New York. He left JBC, went to the UN, retired in New York. I remember the morning I joined BBC on my own with a 6 bim, bum, 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 and I didn't hit any of them, and he just did this.
Yay.
You know,
Yeah.
so
Cutting
also,
into the feed at the right time and getting it right.
Yeah, it was teamwork. Your seniors could guide you and correct you, and the people who are managing you, you can get some good guidance and correction. Some of them would make you feel uncomfortable, or may send you to the bathroom and shed a tear or 2.
Yes,
and
I
what was
definitely
good for me
appreciate that,
is that most of the people who trained me in theater were also in radio.
Yes, that worked out well. I understand that entry could be like almost a probation period, that observation, and you're not allowed to do too much. I got the 9 to midnight shift when I first started. So 9 to midnight at a lonely radio station in a mall. That was the first music shift.
But that was good.
Of course.
That was good, because you don't want people to get too many people believe that when you get on air that you've arrived. You've not arrived.
No,
there's a lot of work to be done, a lot of things for you to know that you don't know, and now there's still a lot of work to be done with the new dispensation of radio. So the same things that you're all calling podcasts, saying that to the young people.
Yes.
We used to record those programs, just that we didn't have the technology to have people interacting with them instantaneously.
Yes, yeah.
But if we were able to pull up some of those programs that we did, and they were marvelous at the Jamaica Broadcasting Corporation or any station 50, 60 years ago, and feed them out there, and it would be amazing, the programs we did.
It would. Thank you. Patria, how was your entry like into the radio world?
So mine was baptism by fire.
Right.
And also baptism by hurricane. And as we talk about, you know, climate change this year, my mind goes back to 2004 when Ivan was barreling down on Jamaica. And my media hat at the time was Weather Girl.
Right.
And so on the hour, I would have been on TV giving radio updates. And then that became on the hour for television and on the half hour for radio.
Yes.
And when the hurricane looked like Jamaica is about to get a clap, the power got shut off across the country.
Wow.
And so TV was no longer an option for
That's
households, and radio took you through.
That's right.
And it was the moment at which I recognized, even having gone through CARIMAC and had my training in media, it became real for me in that moment, the very year after I left CARIMAC. And so I worked a 24-hour shift,
Yes.
non-stop, on radio. And it became a very human experience because it was calls live from a woman who was having a baby and was stuck in her house and needed help and didn't know where else to turn. It was calls live from people who water coming in the house and they need rescuing and they didn't know where else to turn and they would call the radio station. It was me finding ways to get the information around exactly where the hurricane was, what people should expect, who should expect it, and delivering that message in a way that was informative, but also put people at ease, because the absence of information is what causes the frenzy all the time. And so it allowed me, people allowed me the space and the grace to have that conversation in a way that kept us calm.
That's excellent.
And so I genuinely appreciated that foray into radio at that point. It wasn't until maybe about 4 years or so after that I would have been writing for the newspaper. I'd been doing a column on a weekly basis in the newspaper. And I got a call out of nowhere to say, Cliff Hughes needs to see me.
Yeah.
You drop everything.
You got a big call.
Because the big boss has summoned you.
Yes, yes.
I didn't know why he wanted me.
Yeah.
But it turned out to be that he wanted me to join the team at the station. And I interviewed on my birthday, the 12th of April. And on the 13th of April, he said, come sit down beside me. And he
What?
opened the mic and we
Lovely.
hosted the evening show together for a couple of months. And then I graduated to other programs throughout. But
I would call that the baptism by fire. The first one is
Absolutely.
baptism by hurricane.
Absolutely. And then this one is absolutely the
Yes.
baptism by fire. So that's how I got into radio.
Interesting.
Yeah,
Thank you.
sure.
Raymond, what about you? Your foray into radio?
Oh boy, I sit down listening to Faye, who, I mean, it took me years of her saying, Raymond, call me Faye, for me to actually do it. And I've known Petrea, I count her as a friend of mine. Both of them started with a reference to climate change. So for me, I am an environmental scientist by training and profession.
Yes.
How I ended up on, I shouldn't say ended up, how I
Entered.
matriculated, yes, how I entered radio is quite odd. I don't know if it's baptism by water and baptism by fire or a merger. There was an internal political campaign within the People's National Party, and I had sided with the then President Portia Simpson Miller. There was a program called The Breakfast Club on,
Right.
and it was hosted at the time by Anthony Abrahams and Donna Scott Motley. And representatives from the different camps were invited on the program. And I was brought on to speak about the prospects of the Portia Simpson Miller campaign, which conceptually people thought was the underdog campaign. So persons were like, you not only is that campaign going to lose, but you will be the loser of losers on that campaign. So we had somewhat of a debate, and Tony Abrams, this was a Friday, the elections the Saturday, and Tony Abrams pointed across and says, no matter who wins or loses, we want both of you back on Monday. My team won.
Right.
I've never really been able to answer to myself if it had been the reverse, would I have still gone that Monday? But when I showed up Monday, the other teams did not.
Oh, okay.
And therefore, Tony Abrams says, I'm not going to throw away my 15-minute segment because the rest of them didn't come. So it was he and I alone. And he threw questions like, like a machine gun.
Yes.
They're just
Yeah.
like midway the first question, open bracket the second question, close bracket, and then finish the first question, and you were expected to answer both.
Yes.
And then in the midst of answering, the third, fourth, and fifth questions came. And I didn't sweat the Friday. Oddly
sweat the
enough,
Monday.
but I sweat the Monday because
After
now,
winning.
yes, now your team has won. And he morphed into the
Adversary.
personification, the adversary of all the negative things that were said during the campaign. And I thought to myself, but he was so kind on Friday. Who is this? And at the end of the segment, he said, similar to what you were told, he said, what are you doing on Friday? And I said, well, I'm lecturing and stuff. And he said, no, man, 6 o'clock. Come back here at the Polar Lounge, because it was broadcast from the Pegasus Hotel at the time. So I thought I was coming back for another segment. When I got there, it was only him as a host.
Yes.
And he introduced me as the host. He says, welcome to the Breakfast Club, coming to you live from the Polar Lounge at the Jamaica Pegasus Hotel. I'm Anthony Abrams, and my co-host this morning is Raymond Price.
Wow.
And when I heard the word co-host, I stuttered, my throat went dry. I couldn't even call my name.
Yeah.
And the process has just been unbelievable.
Yeah. So you've been training on the job. It wasn't something that you trained for necessarily. How to present, how to speak on radio.
Listen, I have such humility around the topic because other professionals trained in the discipline of either broadcasting or media or journalism. I've come across some who have said to me, this is so unfair, because you have the position that I studied for. So I take it as a serious responsibility and an honor.
May I just say something about Raymond? And I say this to students all the time. You need to know everything about everything if you're going to be in radio. Raymond is an excellent speaker, great analyst, understands the Jamaican culture and psyche and circumstances. He is a politician, articulate individual. And so he was able to bring all these, and he told you what he studied, bring all of this into whatever he was asked to do. So it's not a good voice that gets you to radio.
No, it's not.
It is your brain. I often say to them, I ask students, why are you here? Oh, somebody told me I had a radio voice. I said, what is that? I say, you have a brain? I say, what do you know? What are you interested in? So if it's agriculture, if it is forensics, it is labor issues, it is tourism,
And
you've got to
constantly
have
curious.
an interest. You have to have an inquisitive mind. And so I'm sorry that they envy you, but maybe they need to broaden their scope as you have done.
Snap.
You understand?
I really honor my access to the space.
Yes.
And under Faye Ellington's tutelage too, I have done a couple of similar activities here at Carimac, which I believe is my gratuity.
Okay.
And paying it forward as well, because these youngsters will be the purveyors of information, not only for their viewers, listeners, or readers, but they'll be the purveyors of the information that capture us, whomever us is.
Yes.
So something that I do or say in my other job, they will be the ones that will determine. And going back to what Auntie Faye just said, it's the inquisitiveness. And when she said it, I then heard all four of my grandparents' voices.
Yes.
Fast, touchy.
No, but we have to reframe it a bit because
Yes.
it does, despite being judged or looked down upon by some as that curiosity, it really is such an essential part of a broadcasting career of any kind.
It's so fun you say that because, I tell people when they have the 2-year-olds and they say, Lord, this child is, what they call it, whatever two, what them call it?
Terrible
I
two.
said, no, stop it. This is the inquisitive stage. Let them inquire. cry about what is happening and pull that off. And,
Touch
you know,
it,
so that is where we stop children a lot, you know. You say, terrible tools, stop it. No, it's not true. And I wish we would stop it.
So it's the fast and it's the you chat too much.
You chat too much
In all
and
of my
fast.
careers, I've been paid to talk.
And in all of my
In all of
report
them.
cards, it says she would do so much better if she stopped talking in class.
Okay,
I
then.
got that.
Take it back.
I got that.
Take it back.
Okay, then.
I had
We spoke about your Carrimac experience
Yes.
and then jumping into weather girl or
Yes.
woman.
Yes.
What was that transition like for you?
So when I went to CVM at the time to do the weather, I couldn't tell you the difference between Cuba and Curacao on the map. I'm going to be very honest. What they required was somebody who could hear it from an expert, a very technical, clinical expert in the field,
True meteorologist.
who is a true meteorologist who couldn't communicate in a way that resonated with average people.
Yes.
So they wanted that clinician to explain to me what was happening. And then I would translate that on television in a way that people would get. They want to know rain going to fall or it not going to fall. Is it
They don't want to hear about an orographic lifting.
absolutely not?
A meter level trough is affecting the mid to the central parishes.
And trough is the bane of my existence because the clinician at the time didn't pronounce the word trough.
Oh, God.
He said through.
Oh, my
And
goodness.
this
So you
is
didn't
not
have
my
no
field.
idea
So
what
for
it
about
was.
a year on TV, I'm talking about this trough. Until one day I said, this makes no sense to me. And I did the research and realized, no name, so it's a trough. But I say that to say, I exited Carrimac as a communicator,
Yes.
not as a meteorologist. And so I became that bridge where a meteorologist would feed me information that I would break down in a way that people understand. I would communicate in true communication fashion. I'm transferring intended meaning. So that transition for me was easy in the sense that I could synthesize information very quickly.
Yes.
It branched off into it being my media career, and my media training branched off into a whole heap of different branches that are related but separate. And so I was able to work in print, writing columns on a weekly basis for the Gleaner for about 3 years. I was able to host not just the weather segment of the news, present the weather segment of the news, but I also hosted the morning show.
Yes.
I was able to do radio, both drive times, morning and evening, and I also had my own show at midday talk radio time. And I was also able to do marketing because it's a transferable skill. This ability to connect with people and to tell stories is something that radio in particular would have sharpened my ability to do. And so
I just want to pause to highlight that little gem, because I think it's so important that what you learned from Carrimac, that what you got was how to communicate no matter the medium.
yes, yes. And so all of these careers, whether it's marketing that I've done or public relations or any of the different media that are out there, it is that foundation of, I hear Agra Brown in my head. Communication is a transfer of intended meaning. I hear it in my head. And so whatever it is that I approach, it is, am I transferring intended meaning? And it's helped.
Transference
You
of
know,
meaning.
The funny thing too is like when you were speaking about Hurricane Ivan, so true story, when the lights went, there was this feeling of a great sense of doom. It was so ominous. And then there's a little click, like maybe it felt like a full minute or more, but it may have just been a few seconds, because then you click to the battery and I heard her voice. So even the first time I heard about, heard residents saying that they saw a white wall of water in Portland Cottage, and I was like, at the time at the Consumer Affairs Commission, and Ronald Jackson was at ODPEM, and we were brought to an emergency meeting before the hurricane struck. And I remember him saying that there are going to be swells. And he spoke about, if you think of a JUTC bus standing not on its tires, but on the back, that's how high the wall of water would be. And because of my training in environmental sciences, I was able to transfer that concept. And a lot of people thought that between the two of us, we were spreading panic. So when we heard the residents calling in
Yes.
about Portland Cottage, I thought to myself, if only they had listened.
To what was
And the nexus with radio and emergencies, I'm sure even the younger persons listening and watching, you'll see something on TikTok, you'll see something on Instagram, you'll see something on, especially if you see it on Twitter, and you wait. If we are in Jamaica, sorry for the brand identification, but you're going to go to the 7 o'clock in the morning on RJR. If it's at any other point in the day, you just try find the first station that will come next with news. Because until we hear it on the radio, it is not authenticated. That's a cultural programming that Jamaicans still have today. So for me, radio will always be relevant because the way it is transmitted as well, the internet can crash, light can gone. I don't know how many people have transistor radios now, but the
Battery
technology
operated and
yes,
chargeable,
the
and
technology
once you plug in
is
and then
so
plug out.
is so scalable now that you have the concept of radio, which could also be furniture, where you put a ceramic dog or a chalk dog figurine, right, in the radio, the shelf in the radio. Those don't exist anymore, but radios are also available by way of your cell phone.
Yes.
That's
So
right.
it will forever be
Well, I
relevant.
have 10 radio stations on my phone,
Yeah.
including some from London.
Yeah.
Yes.
And if I go home, I will say, yes, sorry, but it's true. Alexa, go to X or Y station. And
I'm going to
Alexa
ask you
does.
about what you're currently listening to in a second. I want to remind our viewers and listeners that this conversation is part of CARIMAC's World Radio Day celebration. We're here with Faye Ellington, Patria K. Charles, and Raymond Price. I'm Kimiko Scott, keeping you company, and we've been spending some time speaking about entry into radio, but also hinting on and addressing the theme of this year's World Radio Day, radio and climate change, just how impactful radio is in time of disaster, in times of something going wrong in a community. The radio is where you get your information, and that is rooted in culture, but also rooted in the technology itself and what it's capable of. I was asking,
Go ahead.
I was going to ask you about that time you spent at BBC.
I want to
learning
come back to radio and the farmers. I touched on it briefly. The Jamaica Broadcasting Corporation had 3 regional stations. One was in St. James, one was in St. Anne, which is now Irie FM. They were sold, and one was in central Jamaica, in Manchester, Radio Central. And there was something innovative that happened there. Radio Central served Clarendon, Manchester, and St. Elizabeth. I don't know how many people know this or ever remember it, but the late Marguerite Newland was a manager there. The stations were serving primarily farmers, and that station wrote and delivered the news in the Jamaican language. Not one newscast, not 1 week, not 1 month, not, right? Because they saw the need for communicating with farmers in a language that they're comfortable with and that they could understand. And of course, a lot of this climate change is not just as we are seeing it now. You need to know if there's going to be rain and if it's going to flood and what time, and if you have goat, you have to carry them in from out a common, and if you have fowl, what you're going to do with them, and so on and so forth. And so I want people to know that there was such an innovation by the Jamaica Broadcasting Corporation, by Radio Central, led by the late Marguerite Newland and her team, to write and deliver the news in the Jamaican language.
And
I
when
want
would
you to
have this
leave
been? When would
This would have been the 80s,
Okay.
70s, 80s, because I started out in 74. Yeah, somewhere around there. Yes. And what did you ask me?
So I just
Yeah,
wanted
sorry.
to make a
We're
point
adding, yes.
in relation. So when I entered traditional media in 2004 on a regular basis, one of the things that I had the confidence to step in and do was to speak in my natural voice. And I credit the lady beside me for that confidence, because there was this thinking that you have to twang.
Yeah.
You have to put on an accent. There's
You
a
have to
radio
sound
voice.
American.
You have to sound American. There's a radio voice and a TV voice. And it was never lost on me that every time that I heard Faye Ellington speak, she sounded like a Jamaican. There was, it was both the intonation and the diction and the way that you delivered, but there was also personality in it. There is this very stoic, curated way that there are some presenters in the past that have delivered on radio and on television that didn't feel natural. And I appreciated the delivery of Faye Ellington, who came as she was.
And that's a good segue to my next question. How did you decide what to present on air?
Well, let me tell you something. Sorry.
No, drop it so.
let me tell you something. And I'm glad you raised that. I was the first woman to do an early morning show. That is usually done by men. I mean, you get up at 3 o'clock and get to work at 4:30 and stuff. Radio. And when I was given the responsibility, I started on the 4th of December, 1978. A colleague said to me, I hope you're not going on the air to use that Jamaican language business. Leave it right there. But I knew what I knew. Because, you see, I was born at the right time and had the right influences. We didn't call them mentors in my time. They were the examples that you followed. A Leonie Forbes, a Wycliffe Bennett, an Easton Lee, and I could go on. And of course, Louise Bennett. So seeing that me know my culture,
Yes.
and I had been with the Jamaican folk singers, sang with them for a year with the late Olive Lewin, because it was not, and theatre, but it was not just about learning a folk song, it was understanding where this folk song come from. What is the sociology behind this? How it was. And so I knew that there was a place for me to use my Jamaican language.
Absolutely.
And nobody was going to stop it. So me just do my thing. I move from both my languages.
Yes.
I move in the middle of a sentence. I can slip from English into Jamaican and vice versa. And I remember the late Ken Maxwell wrote me, Pro Rata Powell was his name, white Jamaican, and he wrote me a letter which I have to put in my memoirs. Please remind me, Raymond, I need to keep writing. And he complimented me on that facility to be able to use both languages with such composure and ease. But it's because of the people who influence me. Louise Bennett, I never hear Miss Lou say, wow, look here. And you understand? No. Unless you're playing a part.
Yes.
Unless it's a character part, you know. So the culture, being steeped in the culture and understanding the culture was important, because a big part of culture is language.
Absolutely.
You know, so
you were in fact defying some of the people who.
Oh yes, I'm a defier.
Your bosses. and
it wasn't a boss; it was a colleague.
Right. Okay. But
right? My bosses understood where I was going. I must say, to the extent that when I had my hair in the little thing, they nearly killed Joan Andrea Hutchinson. But I had nobody stressed me about it. In terms of my bosses, the late any boss at all. And at the time when I did Claude Robinson, he never said, you need to go straighten your hair and stuff like that. Because these people understand who we are. Yes. You know? So BBC, it was just, let me tell you now. I come up in a period, you see, with black power. I became, in the 60s, you go to high school, you have black power and you're rebel and all of that. So when I reach a BBC, you know, and I doing radio production, them want me go down a one place, a one shipyard, for do one BBC, for do my final documentary. So I had a little conversation. I said, no, I don't think I want to go to Portsmouth. I would like to go to do my documentary in the gardens, Edinburgh Gardens. And I'm placing the National Dance Theatre Company in Edinburgh Gardens. My National Dance Theatre Company. Suck it to them, I say, man.
Find power. It's part of a broadcaster's almost call to action. I want to pause for a moment and share with our viewers and listeners who may be around the world a video from Al Jazeera that gives a little bit of a highlight on what World Radio Day is all about and why UNESCO decided to declare it a day at all.
For almost 100 years, the radio has been available in homes and workplaces around the world, a popular way of staying informed and entertained. Its attraction, of course, once you bought a radio, the music, news or talk was free if you didn't mind the advertisements. And today, according to the UN, there are about 44,000 radio stations worldwide, broadcasting to almost everybody in the world. That's almost 7.5 billion people, making it one of the world's most technology.
Radio is a platform that allows people to interact despite different educational levels. So somebody may be illiterate and still be able to call in a show, to give a testimony and to participate in radio. This is not the same if the same person wants to read a newspaper.
Needing only a few towers to broadcast a signal over wide areas, radio has remained popular, especially in areas where mobile networks are patchy or absent, making it an essential and reliable part of disaster and emergency response.
It's very local, very community driven, and so people feel that they can really relate to presenters and the conversations on the radio. And increasingly we're seeing radio become a two-way mechanism as people start to engage using their phones, maybe dialing into talk shows, texting in their opinions. And so it's actually a very participatory mechanism in local communities for people to have their say and have their voices heard.
The arrival of mobile phones has changed the consumption habits of millions, but many come with built-in radio chips, and this has revived the radio industry. In countries like Zambia, for example, a third of people listen to the radio on their mobile handset every week. And although their phones will certainly get smarter and mobile internet cheaper, the fact radio is free and widely accessible means it's likely to remain popular for years, if not decades, to come.
Thank you so much for being with us here on Carimac TV. Our live feed is actually on Carimac's YouTube channel, but we're also broadcasting live on Grenada Broadcasting Network, K105 FM, and More FM in Montego Bay. So we say welcome and thank you for joining us. We truly appreciate it.
Can I say hi to all the Carimac graduates from Grenada?
Yes, of
Hello.
course. You know anybody by name?
I don't know if they're still there, but we have quite a few
Carimac graduates from Grenada.
Lovely.
Yes.
Thank you so much. And to all Carimac grads, we have some of them here on us.
Yes.
And soon grads helping us in terms of technical. We have second and third year students in the room right now assisting with camera and other technical skills. We thank them very much and get back into our conversation. And I'll share probably the same question with you, Patria. How do you decide what of yourself you will present on air?
I had a lot of leverage, particularly when I had my own show for radio. It would have been a 2-hour show that would have run from 1 to 3 called Every Woman. And it allowed me to, hard news pulls too much on my heartstrings for it to be my everyday job. It was extremely emotional when I ever had to walk the path of hard news. I am invested in the stories, and it was very difficult to divorce myself from that. And there was a requirement to divorce yourself from that of sorts if you're presenting the news. It was important for me when I was doing that daytime show that if emotion was required, that I felt it was okay to feel and to commiserate. And so that show for me between 1 and 3 on a weekday was really about humans connecting with each other. It was about, I tell you a story, a very human story that happened to me on that show, and it was perhaps one of my most memorable radio moments. I love the fact that radio allows you to open the lines and talk to people. People call you and have real conversations. And there was a gentleman who called one day, and he was blind, and his daughter had gotten into university, and he couldn't see the first dollar to pay her school fee. And that man broke on radio, on air, talking to me. And you couldn't help but feel his pain. Not hear, but feel his pain. And for the rest of the show, all we did was take pledges from listeners, and we paid her school fee.
Yeah.
I think that community, that 15 segments on TV, that 15-minute or 5-minute segment on television.
You can never have that kind of connection.
Radio allows you that kind of connectivity with people. And I think, so going back to your question about, what I decided to put in that space. Monday to Thursday, it really was about, as a woman, and all the facets of being a woman, having conversations around those things. And it was very interesting. When we did the polls, my listenership was actually 50-50, because it also clued men into things that they weren't necessarily having conversations about, right? They were learning about women. And that was very helpful. But on a Friday, I don't want to talk to anybody. Friday for me was about music. And that music thing was very important to me, because having done an interview when I did the evening show, I had learned that Jamaica was paying out music royalties more outside of Jamaica than to local acts. And I decided that in my small corner, I was going to play local music on radio.
Strictly local?
Not strictly, but what I was going to do was shift the balance, right? In my show, we're going to play more. Absolutely. Yeah. That actually was the ratio for me. Yes. I was going to play more local music on radio than I played foreign music. And so on a Friday, it was just about feeling good with the power of music. The kind of music block that you're not going to get on TV. The kind of music block that I can pull up a song when people are calling in and saying, "Oh my gosh, this sounds so good. I love that song. I can remember where I was when that song came out." It was that kind of experience for me on a Friday. It was very deliberate and it felt fantastic.
Excellent. What I'm getting from you ladies is that you chose to be your authentic self.
Yes.
And were deciding what you didn't want in this space when you were on air.
Yeah.
Raymond, what about you? How do you decide what of yourself you're presenting?
Well, I don't know whether it's bad luck or obeah, but I don't have to filter.
Okay.
Because, we spoke about community, and community is not just geographic. So I might come from Craighead, which is a geographic community, but if I'm speaking on a subject matter, people who that subject resonate with, you have the non-geographic community. So you have a philosophical community or an ideological community, or sometimes with the music, a community of fans of Madonna, But because I spend my life always chatting, anybody that don't know already what they don't know is because they've never heard it yet or they don't care.
Right.
So I didn't have to do any filters. I can go across the road on 9 to 12, Wednesdays to Fridays at Newstalk, and just read in the first segment what's on the front pages. I always try to get both editorials in. I can take any call, because somebody calling me, when know say, I'm a member of the People's National Party already. So what you going to do? Tell me, say me a PNP? Okay, welcome to the club. They know I am a nerd. I embrace my nerdness. So I can read and assimilate the most complex science, and I've been blessed. If one blessing I'm forever grateful for is the ability to translate into, Beverly Manley used the phrase, people in public office must consider the airs into which they are speaking. And I remember the first time she used the phrase, she says, you have a natural meter to speak into the hearing of the public. You know the airs into which you're speaking. So
I call it Johnny by the shop. when
Yeah.
I'm speaking to students.
If Johnny
you
gets
have
it.
to make sure that Johnny by the shop, who limes outside and might
Yeah.
have had 2 drinks this morning, he
Yeah.
needs to understand what you're saying because he still needs the news.
You know, Kimiko, you triggered a memory. Norma Rochester. Anybody who went to high school in Jamaica in the 80s and the 90s and did debates
Yes.
would know the name Norma Rochester. She always said, when you're preparing your speech, think of a somebody that is extremely bright, them will get it. Think of somebody who is not so bright that you actually know. Make sure them get it. But really and truly, you want to speak to the somebody that is in the middle of the two, the Johnny by the shop. So I can, radio is not only the most authentic medium, it is the most critical and the most forgiving. When I transitioned, it's like I'm walking in Petraeus' footsteps, because I with CVM at Sunrise, Judith Bodley was my executive producer, and she said, get used to television, you're no longer on radio. But television has so many distractions. Failington once called me after a program and says, no, go back on the TV screening in a striped shirt because the dazzling of the stripe. So there are other things. With radio, all the listener knows is that voice. So I've been out and about in society and people look on me and them look away.
Well,
and then
when you
I
open
said,
your mouth to speak.
may I? And I just 4 or 5 words into a sentence say, oh, yeah, man, I him. Kind of a thing. And then radio, quite literally, has been a visa for me because I spoke at a BBC town hall at the Spanish Court Hotel in 2019. I answered one question, and it was broadcast by the BBC in London. And I spoke about environmental reparations. And somebody planning a conference on the subject in Durban, South Africa, called the station in London, and we had to register, and they got the email, and I was flown from Kingston, Jamaica, to Durban, South Africa, to speak on my academic subject area. Because we did talk on the people in radio station.
And I love that.
Yeah. You see, this is what I admire so much about Raymond. We share things in common. We share the same birthday, by the way. So let me just declare that. But I'm his
May
senior.
28th. If you're not Geminis in here or listening, hush.
I want to though bring something in that you have, but you didn't label it. The importance of talk radio and news and current affairs programs, which you did with Cliff. Talk radio is critical in our societies, both in the Caribbean and on the continent of Africa or wherever else. Talk radio is company, particularly for older people.
Yes.
Particularly.
And night shift workers.
Right. So the talk radio, for example, both whether it is Hotline or Cliff Hughes Online, whatever, you have a set of people who will always be there.
Yes.
Right? It's very important. It also is important for disseminating information. But let me tell you about the genesis of daytime talk radio. It was at the Jamaica Broadcasting Corporation, Public Eye. Yeah? What was the purpose? It was to allow people to get their voice, their issues, their grouses, their complaints, their whatever it is for their community out there, and for remedies to be found. So that was Public Eye, the Jamaica Broadcasting Corporation, for talk radio, which is different from news and current affairs. And I have to make that distinction. Talk radio is when somebody can call in and talk to you about anything.
And teach you over what you did think you didn't know.
We don't know who the next caller is and what they're going to be asking about. So it is from pothole fixing to hospital issues, the next caller. News and current affairs has a plan.
Yes.
You sit down in your office, in your production room at 10, 11 in the morning to work out what the plan is for 5 o'clock, going into 7 o'clock. This is your first story. This is your most important. This is the bam, 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 bam. It is structured news and current affairs. And again, I want to speak about the beginning of news and current affairs programs in the evening. It was JBC again. And the program was hosted by Errol Lee and myself, The World at 5. So both when the talk show, The Public Eye, started, which in a sense was nuanced as it went along, it had some current affairs and issues in there, we were told, it can't work. This daytime thing where people call in, it's not going to work. Well, did it work? And then the evening news and current affairs program, oh, okay. And I must give you a little gem. So we had a minister of the People's National Party. He was involved in roads, and he was widening the roads from Ligani up to Papine, Roger Clark. And he had to take down a guango tree in Ligani. Between me and the guango tree, I had to go down for a number of reasons. Right? So we're interviewing him one evening, and there were lots of little rumors and little jokes about him and stuff, because he was jocular and fun and the rest of it. And we're interviewing Errol and myself, and he says, and you know, them say, you know, because me chop down the guango tree up a Ligani, me I come down a halfway tree for chop down the clock. You know, and you get to know people as portrayals. So you know people in a particular way, their authentic selves in radio. It's the problem with television. I deliberately didn't put on any makeup to come here today. God damn it, man, you have to put on makeup.
Yes,
I agree.
You have to have certain kind of clothes.
No stripes.
No pinstripes for TV, okay? No small polka dots for TV. No herringbones for TV.
No white, and know your background.
Right, because you're going to get something called moire, which when you're watching it. So yes, me call him asking, no, you go back up there.
I want to put on my corporate hat for a little bit with regards to the relationship between corporate and radio. And it's interesting now because when I first stepped into corporate, one of the things that my then mentor and still mentor taught me was that as I committed media spend, some of the corporate money must go to the smallest of community radios.
Amen.
There was a recognition that
good culture.
the big media houses
Have
wonderful.
options. Yeah.
But you also have these small community radio stations that the people in and around that community
Must
are
have seen.
loyal to. They listen to, they trust it. It is going to give them the kind of nuanced information that big stations may not give them. And they develop relationships with people who work at those stations that are important for their very survival and for the company, for the old people. And so in my corporate life, I was taught that media spend must go even
Some
there.
portion of it, yes.
Absolutely. The other thing that we recognized was the power of radio. I remember every year we used to spend millions of dollars on these branded premiums to give to people, T-shirts, and one of our
Billboards.
most sought after premiums that made sales skyrocket was a backpack with a radio built into it.
Yes.
It was a backpack with a built-in radio, and it was fascinating every time there was a hurricane threat to see people go for that backpack and tune into their bags, pack all their emergency supplies in that same bag, and turn on to their radio, their favorite radio station, and keep it close. It was something that, it was a lesson that was not lost on me early in my corporate career, and it is something that I hope the young people in this room and other folks who make that transition into the corporate world, they recognize the power not just of mainstream radio, but also of the community radio station. I will also say that radio is challenged, particularly here in the Caribbean, where there are a lot of radio stations. And you have that dichotomy between radio needing to survive and corporate wanting its pound of flesh. And it's gonna take serious ingenuity on the part of producers, of station managers, of presenters, to find a way for that harmony to happen where the commercial entity feels like, other than just placing an ad, there is a place for it in radio that doesn't disrupt the good that radio does.
It's the creativity that needs to come back and the innovation, because we had it once. So everybody can't be doing the same thing. And
And we
that
can't
is,
all find a formula
So-
and stick to
and
it
they can't be
across
doing the
every
same thing.
frequency.
So
You know?
formerly trained in media, Faye calls it creativity and innovation in an ecosystem. It's called nicheation.
there you go.
So you have an entire ecosystem, which is as the supply of services, functions, nutrients, and extraction of all of the above. The reason why some animals come out at night and they are evolved to see better at night, can't see good in the day, is because at night, the other functions that the ecosystem provides, they can capitalize on it, optimize on it, or they can serve those that will be, so the nocturnal serve the diurnal and stuff like that. I find the same for radio, and I share a time slot with a personality that is as far from mine as Saturn is from the sun.
Right.
And you do have people that will tune in on Monday and Tuesday and tune out Wednesday to Friday, and that's fine. You know, because if we were all the same, then that's when the relevance of anything will die, when there is no nicheation, no diversity. You know,
so we're agreeing with,
you know,
our
with,
sister,
yeah, which is
that
to
it's
maintain the
challenged, and
dichotomy.
it's because we are not thinking that we can be different. We say, oh, it worked for that station, so we could do it too, rather than, you know.
Building on something or doing something that's unique to you. You mentioned that trip to South Africa. Could you share perhaps what other opportunities you've had based on your radio experience?
Mia Motley.
Oh, she called you.
No. Prime Minister Mia Motley visited Jamaica to speak at the Michael Manley Centennial Lecture.
Yes.
My Breakfast Club doyenne, Donna Scott Motley, was the person putting the program together. And she called me and said, we're not sure yet Prime Minister Motley will agree, but should she agree to a question and answer at the Little Theatre after the lecture, we would like you to host it. No, Donna Scott Motley says, if. You know what I did? I just canceled my entire schedule because whether or not preparation. And when she came onto the stage, I was backstage. So she did her lecture front of curtain. Is that what it's called? Front of curtain. And then I was behind the curtain. And then the curtains opened and there was a setting with two chairs and a table. So I met her in the, what that name again?
In the wings?
In the wings. I met her in the wings. And I said, good evening, Prime Minister. I'm Raymond Price. She says, of course I know you. I listen to you on the radio from time to time. My head became a balloon because I almost floated in the air. And then when we sat down, I said, good evening, you know, because now you have to introduce her to the audience for that segment. And I said, I have the honor of asking some questions on behalf of the audience to Prime Minister Mia Motley. And she says, call me Mia.
When I saw that, I said, okay.
So when I heard her say that, I heard my mother and my two grandmothers in my head saying, you're not going to do that. So I says, no, Prime Minister, I'll call you Prime Minister Motley. But the fact that because of radio, there was a measurement and a relationship. And I tell you, another lesson I learned because of radio is that if you're not prepared for a listener to your program, they might see you while you carry your grandmother to the hospital. They don't care. You are their product. So it's not how people think, you know. Radios don't have stars. Listeners have products. So when them say feed them host and them one said, look here, you see the other day when you said this about me Prime Minister, make I tell you something. You have to be prepared and patient and disciplined. But the good thing I found so far about the Jamaican people, they will push you, but they'll protect you. I've been fortunate. I've never had any altercation that would cause me worry. And this is speaking to somebody who, honestly, I'm a very shy and introverted person. So this is probably my way of balancing. You know, you go to a school like St. George's College and you are short up until fourth form, till one summer you get taller. These bigger boys and brawnier boys can really small you down. So you had to find a niche again. So for me it was oratory and debate and, well, you're going to go home to beaten if you get poor grades. So you had to deliver, you know. So radio is that completion of me.
I do want to, unrelated, but it's a point that I wanted to make sure that we had a discussion about today. Radio taught me to paint a picture with my voice. And there was a particular moment where it became very important in my radio career. There was something that was happening in the Maroon Village, one of our Maroon villages. And the long and short of the story is there was a claim that a bank was built. And I was sent deep into Akampong to investigate this particular matter. And when I went, and when I went to Akampong, what was to have been the bank and a solar farm was a 2-story house. And for my listeners to understand the difference between what was sold to the people of Akampong and what the reality was that was built in the space, it required of me to paint the picture of the orange house with the balconies that was 2 stories with a bedroom downstairs and a kitchen with a galley kitchen with, I had to do what television couldn't. And it was a very important story, not just in my career, but for the station, because it was breaking news. It was a newness that print hadn't yet gone and taken a picture so people could get it, and television hadn't gone in with cameras so people could see it. There was a weight on my shoulder to explain to people in very vivid details with just my voice. And it was a skill that I appreciate when people are able to do it and do it well, and only radio can do that.
I want to build on that, and it's part of preparation that will take you to that kind of understanding. So television has lenses, and that creates the pictures. The words we use and how we use them will create the pictures. I want to talk a little bit about outside broadcasts, because that's a very important part of radio. So when I started out in outside broadcasts, I was told I needed to have five times more the information than I think I will need. My first state funeral was in 1977, Sir Alexander Bustamante, one of our national heroes. And I joined the station in 74. What is that, 3 years? So, then I was leaving shortly after, a week after, to go to the BBC. It was at most of the state funerals we have are at the Holy Trinity Cathedral, not because people are all Catholic. It's the largest place to hold people. And I remember Dennis Hall, the late Dennis Hall, was inside the church, and I was on the outside doing a simulcast. Now, a simulcast is not an easy thing to do. You're doing commentary for both radio and television. If you chat too much, radio people go and say, the TV people go and say, why is she chatting so much? If you chat too little, the radio people go and say, what happened to her? Right? So there am I, sitting on the gatepost, and the rain started. Oh, my darling, you can't get up and say, I'm going to get wet. You sit there in the rain and deliver. My notes, it wasn't a time now when you have a device in your hand, so 5 times more than what you need. You understand? A lady trying to help me held an umbrella over me, but the umbrella was dripping on my notes as well. Anyway, point is, you have to stay there and get it done, but the preparation. And Dion Jackson Miller was reminding me about this when I shared in an interview with her recently. When I was covering Edward Seaga's funeral, I prepared everything, including the weather. And there was Sahara dust. So I called the Met Service and said, you have Sahara dust, but you have 2 other things happening here. You have a lower this and a upper that, how it will happen, whatever. And that I said to I'll tell you something else that I did that was different, because every state funeral is the same arrangement, so you have to do something different. So I said to the technical crew, I said, I want the camera to start in the air. That's where my commentary is going to start. Dion says, when we were talking, she says, people spoke about that thing, because some people didn't know what's Sahara. You have to make it different. You have to pull people in. And so just about 2 or 3 seconds, and then you come down and talk about the Sahara dust. And with that funeral as well, the coffin, and preferred term for state funerals is coffin and not casket. The coffin would have been taken in by the members of the JDF bearer party and all of that. And one day I said, well, every time I said that the bearer party have 8 people carrying in this thing, what else can I say? And the day before I went down there with my inch measure, I was walking one in my bag. It's a very handy thing to have. and I measured the width of the gate. And I called JDF and say, no, by the way, I always speak with the funeral home.
Yes.
What is a coffin made of? What is inside? Like Miss Lou, they had ice cement in her coffin because she liked that. So I was able to bring that, oh my God, on her face cloth. You have to do that kind of research and preparation. So I went down there, measured the width of the gate, called a funeral home, asked them for the width of the coffin. By the way, you have to have respect for people or you're not going to get this kind of assistance.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay? Then I called JDF and said, when the man then stand up so them hold the coffin, I want you to measure from here so to there so. So when them start to come in now, I don't remember the measurement them, so I'd say, and here now the members of the Jamaica Defence Force, so they're a party bringing in the coffin of the remains of so-and-so, and they're moving through the space of, like I say, 24 inches, and they in all, in the total, is 21.5 inches, and you see the precision that takes, and you cannot.
I see it
For
in my
one
mind's
line,
eye.
for one line,
can even see her
three phone calls
measurement.
to pull
And
together
more than
one
a
line.
day
Yeah,
of
yeah.
It's
Took
in-
three phone
that's
calls, a tape
preparation.
measure.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Right? That's you just don't. I'm going to do outside broadcast. And by the way, that's a state funeral. If you're doing it for a supermarket, you still have to prepare.
Yes, yes.
If you're going to the Denby Agricultural Showgrounds,
Oh, one
you
of
still
my
have to
favorite
prepare.
events.
You have to know about the farmers. I hope you know a little history about our great geneticist who did bring all them 4 breeder cattle.
T.
Lecky from Portland. That's why I'm telling you, no need to know every striking, can I say striking? Every striking thing. Agriculture, labor laws, how parliament, when me young, you know, and Dennis Hall alive, and I'm going to cover parliament. I said, Uncle Lee, I can come in there, not to work, but to see how it
parliament
works.
works,
And run down to Garden House behind him and sit down and meet the at the time, the clerk was, what's his name again? Come on, Raymond. God damn it, when my brain goes here to pick it up. Anyway, fabulous man.
Mrs. Cook was the first clerk that I knew.
Fabulous man who then invited me back because he saw my interest
Yes.
for a tour.
some time,
And so I'm doing the opening of Parliament. You can't say the JDF. Can you imagine the JDF drop the Jamaica flag on the ground? It's not the flag. So you must know the difference between the flag and the flag.
Yeah.
What them use there.
Yes.
You understand? So me also make sure so me have a thing for
and
40
you
years
also
with the
have to know
JDF.
why on that occasion, because by lowering the flag,
Lowering the standard.
the standard right there is to say that the only thing above the standard is the monarch,
You understand.
and which you know in this case today,
Yeah.
which is the state opening of Parliament, it was for the
That's
first time a Deputy Governor General, the
he
Custos
delivered
of
beautifully,
Kingston.
Raymond. I heard bits and
Yes,
pieces. He
yes.
delivered
So,
beautifully. He's my church brother.
but you know it's
goody.
interesting. You speak about preparation. So yesterday on Straight Up, we interviewed Fitz Jackson about the bill to amend the Parish and
The
Counties
15th
Act,
parish.
the 15th parish. And while he was speaking, a listener didn't. What is a bill? It's not a bill. It's a law, because the listener thought that Fitz was being was obfuscating, because he kept on saying the problem I have with the bill. And the person thought he was disrespecting the Prime Minister, because the Prime Minister, Minister Mackenzie passed a law, not a bill. And, you know, I then had to dive.
And explain the
It
difference.
came so quickly. What's a white paper? Well, Fitz explained the difference between a white
Yes.
paper and a green paper. But you had to speak about the bill it passed,
No, here
it
the
goes.
lower house, that it's now waiting until the upper house
The Senate.
debates, the Senate debates and passes it. And then it is still not law until the Governor General gives it royal assent, and it's still not law
Not a royal
until it's
assent,
gazetted. Yeah, I'm not into it either, but
Me
it's
know
still
because he
named
did bring
so.
the thing to Parliament. He said the people's speech rather than the throne speech. I know that him, you know. Him can't go Parliament when he was a member of Parliament. He said,
Yeah.
we need to have the people's speech, not the throne speech. Throne is England.
But the thing with radio, because if you, you can stutter, we're humans, but when a caller, to go back to the point you made about the phone calls, I was afraid of them first, because you don't know what
will be said,
come
what
on, we're
criticism,
Jamaicans. You don't know what going to come out of our mouth when we button get pressed. But in that moment, when you saw that somebody just didn't understand that the correct thing is a bill, capital B, and stuff like that.
We can educate you.
Yeah, because it's not done in schools anymore.
No, exactly. I have to make sure say the man wasn't a farmer, you know. Because a machete, you have
Billy,
a different kind of machete. That is called a bill.
I bet you none of you know the difference between a machete and a bill.
And you will hear the modern day
bill
people
sort
from
of
say
shaped
machete.
square.
Caribbean people say machete
Yeah.
or cutlass.
No.
But I get thing with the machete.
Yeah, you move from cutlass to lass.
Mhm.
And by the way, those that actually went to some formal education say cutlass because
Yes.
in cricket it's cutlass.
Cutlass. Cutlass. Boy, give me the half cutlass there.
Trinidad has cutlass long time. I wanted to also add to what we've been discussing, of course, and speak about that opportunity window door that happens. So you're a broadcaster, but you're doing outside broadcast. This leads to covering state funerals and then so many other things. Can you
Orator.
share some of those things?
I've been, fortunately, and I am grateful for the opportunities to be an orator for state events. So national honors and awards, I'm an orator for that. And also most of all the events at King's House, I'm the orator. I have the diplomatic dinner coming up. That's an annual stuff. Or just being able to MC. So you have orator, you have compare, you have MC, awards functions for tiny companies, medium-sized companies, large entities, you know. As a matter of fact, Raymond, I have to boast off on all of you too. I'm going off for International Women's Day for Florida, Jamaican Women of Florida, honoring me on International Women's Day.
Congratulations.
I'm one of the 4 people. I think the head of our JDF is going to be up there as well, will be honored. And our head is a woman of the Jamaica Defence Force, Antoinette Weems-Borman.
They say it's the first time an army in Jamaica was headed by a woman, but it's actually the second
Because
time.
Nanny did give me the come on, Nanny of the Marines.
I'm not taking it away from the Chief of Defence
but
Staff.
we
I'm
must
just
be
saying
historically
this is
accurate.
another layer of the Talawanese
Exactly.
of Jamaican women.
Yeah. So it has afforded me opportunities, but you see, you have to know how and when to use the opportunity, or rather, you have to know the opportunities are there and how to grasp them. So, for example, it was after I did BBC and I came back to Jamaica. I didn't come to Caramel because I was establishing my career as an actress, right? So I did that first for the first 10 or so years. Then I came to Caramel in 84, right? And then, because I'd done documentary making there, and I think I had an edge over the people who were doing it, and because I'd had the in-house training at the JBC. So BBC viewed the JBC people as having come to them with some level of proper training. And my documentary was on the Eventide home fire. Which was in 1980. That was a top documentary of the time. And so that gave me, and so Alma Markian, who was in charge of radio then, invited me at the end of that training session, of that course, to teach summer school. And so that's it, opened up the doors to teach. So I taught, 33 years here, 21 part-time and 12 full-time. And you teach, and then from teaching, well, before I was teaching there, I trained for companies, right? I coach individuals.
Communication training, individual coaching for presentations.
For presentation, public speaking. And I must tell you, my cultural influences of Olive Lewin and Louise Bennett and all the others came together, and my assimilation of it. I was the Jamaican language coach on the Bob Marley movie, right? For Black Cake. And what should I want name again? Get Millie Black television series.
All things that have come out within the last 2 years. So this seems to be like a new version of your exploration into
Miss
things.
Child, we're not dead, not dash when.
Yes. I'm not setting you up for retirement.
No, me don't know that word.
That word is for.
But it's very important that you stay in a position of growth and renewal. I have friends who are older than I say, no, don't do that. Just get on with what you can do. There's always something that you can do. Yes. Don't just give up, you know, or friends or people, you know, you encourage people. There's always, and if you really lay the foundation right that you're getting here at Carmack, if you lay it right, then there are so many opportunities.
And that would be the segue for Patria to share her experience. I mean, broadcasting, yes, but so many other things.
One of the things that radio has helped me to do is when I put on my PR hat in corporate, I'm able to stress test what I'm able to share with media as news.
Right.
That experience of having worked in a newsroom and having worked in radio and having worked in media makes me understand the difference between a puff piece that is going to die in somebody's inbox versus something that's actually newsworthy.
That's right.
And it's a strategic approach to communications that I yearn for in the practice more.
Yes.
I genuinely feel that PR people should spend some time
In a
working
newsroom,
in a
yes.
newsroom.
I am telling
I
you, it's
genuinely
important.
feel that that's
Yeah.
critical.
Because of the crap that, the things that we get in the newsroom. really.
the ability to make that distinction between what is
what's
a
going to
story
be,
worth
yeah.
telling
Yes.
and something that's going to satisfy your corporate ego is it's radio has helped me to do that.
Yes.
Media training has helped me to do that.
And I'm guessing that would also backtrack into your approach and your intention as a PR person doing the event.
Absolutely.
So even if before it gets to the news, how am I going to use my knowledge and create intention with this event?
Definitely.
Yeah.
And so, yes, I have found my media career invaluable. I think as long as I am breathing, media will always be a part of who I am and what I do in some way, shape, or form. And I found that the corporate side of me and the media side of me, it's Clark Kent and Superwoman. it's really that, right?
They work together.
They absolutely do, and I've appreciated it.
And I'm glad to have you both here because I read your 2016 article called Giants Among Women, where Faye was actually mentioned in the
Absolutely.
article. So I'm glad that we get to connect each other here.
We have all three of us in different ways connect very especially.
Because it's funny, a few years ago, and Faye speaks about International Women's Day. 2 years ago, I decided on Facebook, so nothing formal, but on Facebook, for each day in March,
Yes.
I would
Highlight.
speak about not just a Jamaican woman
Right.
of note or known, but a Jamaican woman that has impacted my life. And 2 years ago, among the 31 was Faye Ellington. And it was strange writing it because I had to step back and say, how is it that I actually know Faye Ellington?
Yeah, how did we meet?
I remember I was working at Tourism, aid to Aluna Samba, and there was an event TPDCO had put on Nutsville Boulevard. And Faye was the MC.
Okay.
And the
She
segment...
doesn't remember.
No,
But
she may not. But Laka Ellis was on, and she went, when she took back over the microphone, she says, if it wasn't a free event, you'd have to pay for the amount of laughing when you and the point, but it wasn't in an accusatory way.
Oh, it was a celebration of the ability to
pulled
connect.
me into her, and on so many other occasions, I've been fortunate I can take up the phone and I can say, I don't quite get this, or
help,
and she's there. And at a very difficult time when I served as Member of Parliament, I was invited to be on CVM as a guest because this particular matter was, it was just dominating the news, and I declined. And the producer says, it's going to be Rowan Daly and Patria, and we think you should come. I was a little bit annoyed. I said, of course you would think so, because it's another time for take another piece of me, like my name Gully Bop. Everybody wants a piece of me. And she said, but you may able to finally give your perspective. And when I walked into the set, I have all of this pain on my shoulders. And Patria said, come here.
That's her.
Yeah.
And that was
setting the tone for something different.
But then today has been even a strange day because Shelley-Ann Fraser-Price was conferred the keys of the city of Kingston today. And the organizers asked me to MC, and I'm like, sometimes I get calls for corporate events, and I'm like, but I don't. But I still go because you prepare, you're patient with yourself, and you basically submit to the audience. But be professional in the moments, but submit to the audience. So when people call me and they'll say, I need you to do this, please be kind with the invoice. I'm like,
Yeah.
invoice? I'm happy to be asked,
Yeah.
kind
No
of a thing.
payment.
No,
Yes, no. but funny enough, again, this
You
is
could
another
call Faye and
area.
ask, what should I charge?
I
Yes.
have in the past, and she
Yeah.
said to me, you structure it this way,
Yes.
and she's very business-like
Of course.
about it, you know. So I'm
There are times when you just try to do it
honored to be
because
in
you do it for the
this
love of
Yes,
it, but
yes.
it takes effort. It takes preparation.
And that is where the fee comes in. Because
Yeah.
you may enjoy
Yeah.
presenting, you may
Yeah.
enjoy being an MC, but
Yeah.
if you're going to measure
Yeah.
the gate,
Yeah.
measure
And
the
then
gate
call
and
the funeral
coffin and
home.
call the funeral home, which we should be doing
Yeah.
to be prepared, it deserves
It takes time.
compensation.
And really, yeah.
Yeah.
And there are times when you might want to ask somebody else, you know,
Yes.
for a number of reasons.
Yeah, you defer, you know.
We're wishing every radio enthusiast a day full of meaningful connections and good listening. We're about to take a break here at Karimak as we continue our conversation. Radio Reimagined, careers, creativity, and conversation continues in a moment.
Apply now for an undergraduate degree in animation, film or journalism at the Caribbean School of Media and Communication at the University of the West Indies, Mona. For more information, visit www.mona.uwi.edu/apply.
Find out more about what you can study here at Karimak by visiting our website. We want to say welcome and thank you again for listening to our friends in Grenada at the Grenada Broadcasting Network K105 FM, also to More FM in Montego Bay. To all of you on our YouTube stream and feed, we have a couple minutes left and I wanted to get from our guest, what are they currently listening to? What are the radio products or audio play products that they are taking heed of? Faye, we'll start with you.
Let me just say congrats to Karimak on their 50th anniversary. Yes, which was October last year, but you're all
Yes, but we're
celebrating the entire
all
year.
Yes.
I listen to appointment radio still.
Okay.
Right, that's part of what I listen to, appointment radio. But because of the way the world spins, appointment radio, Jamaican appointment radio, appointment radio in Jamaica. I also listen to BBC radio.
Right.
So the routine I have, I'm up usually between 4 and 5 in the mornings, and I listen to BBC between 4 and 6 or 4 and 7. I leave for the gym, and my session is at 6 until 7. Right, it's very important for me to get the global perspective.
Yes.
Yes, we are talking radio, but I also ensure that I watch Al Jazeera,
Yes.
BBC, and then I go to the American one, then the MSNBC, CNN, ABC. It's important to get that perspective. My reason for ensuring that BBC is part of my morning diet for radio is that they give a more comprehensive coverage. So I'll hear what's happening in Rwanda. I'm not getting it from CNN.
No.
Right? Anyway, them is TV, cable, right? And I need to be reminded that it's not just America.
Yes.
I need to get the perspective of what's happening in Israel and Gaza and how Egypt have behaved and feel about the Riviera suggestion. It now go up anyway, it's another story. Right. But then I'm also into music.
Yes.
Because when I started out in radio, I chose and played my own music.
Yes.
For me, the weekend is cool, 97 FM, because of the quality of music that I can identify with, you know. The young people will listen to something else. And I don't have a problem with them listening to something else. But talk radio is also important for me during the day when I have the time, because I get the pulse of the Jamaican people and know what their issues are. I hear the nuanced sentiments that they are sharing. You can sometimes gauge where the country might be going on certain issues, etc. So talk radio. Now, I'm not knocking the young people, but most of them are not listening to anything like this, right? I'm not knocking them. They are getting their, and most young people 35 and under don't own a TV or a radio set. They are getting it from the phones. But it's not the complete thing that they are getting. And so there are there are times when important bits and pieces of the information may be left over. But I'm not knocking them. This is their work. But I'd like to say to them, try and make sure you get the full story, so that, yes, you have your podcast or you have your app on the phone, etc., or you see something on TikTok or Instagram or wherever it is that you're going. But try and then look back, get the whole story to see what it is like. So, yes, I'm into music. I'm into our talk shows in Jamaica. I'm into international news. And what else am I into? Yeah, I'm into everything that is media.
Yes.
Yeah, and I get annoyed when I see
podcasts,
standards.
no stories,
Yes. Yeah, I do some of that.
Right.
But not. Yes, but I choose very carefully.
Okay.
You know, yeah. For me, it sounds weird, but you know, there are people who listen to podcasts because, it's inspirational. I mean, kind of is a political, not like him, right? Me need to hear discussions about issues and discussions and conversation about things that going to impact my life.
Not just the do better,
Not
read
just-
this book
no,
and
no.
soak your feet more often.
No, no. But we find the book then, and I still read.
Yes.
Right? I still read. It's important for me to read. Routine again, come from church on Sunday morning between 9:30 and 10. Cup of tea, newspapers. You know?
Patria, what are you listening to these days?
Drive Time Will Not Die on radio.
Yes.
I think corporate people stuck in traffic are listening to radio.
Yeah.
And I'm one of those people. And I listen as a fan.
Yes.
But I also listen as someone who is in a competitive space and who wants to understand what my competitors are doing on other stations. So I can't even say that there is a station that I'm tuned to. I know what people are listening to frequently, and I switch around. I go there. I go there.
Because it's part almost of your job to understand what's happening on the radio that people listen to the most.
Absolutely.
It's kind of like a snapshot of your market.
And in the last 2 years, I think there have been a lot of movement of talent across the radio stations.
Yeah.
And part of the job is the relationship with media people as well.
Yes.
And listening to the radio actually helps me to understand who is where now, to be able to
not
develop
lose track.
Absolutely, and to be able to maintain in a genuine way those relationships and to figure out where people are. I am a millennial, and so I'm on that interesting cusp of generations, and I find myself a victim of the short attention span.
Okay.
And so social media is eating away at my ability to pay attention. And so I am asking of the young people in this room, and I am asking of the future creators to really get back to that thing that we're talking about creativity. Because the millennial in me and the generations after me, you have to come good to keep me listening. And it is what I want to change, not just in radio, but in media.
Yeah.
Not just be on air, but be on air and produce something that's worth listening to.
Yes.
That's a challenge.
So you don't find yourself listening to podcasts or...
It has to be the really short ones, right? Like, I'm not going to sit down and listen to a half an hour podcast or an hour podcast if it really isn't engaging. I am into the swipe environment where I'm listening to the sound bites. I find myself doing that a lot and consuming a lot of that. But I will say, when I do find something that's well produced, well thought out, well researched, and real interesting conversation, I'll sit and listen.
Raymond, what are you listening to?
If I'm not on,
Yes.
I try and listen to Cliffviews Online.
Okay.
Because of my other work.
Yes.
I like the clarification.
I have to know where the potholes are before I open my mouth. In the morning,
Yes.
I given RJR News at 7 o'clock.
Okay.
Because I remember the first time I run home
Shout
to
out
my
to
grandmother.
Paula and Paula Jones.
Exactly. And I told Nana, I was on the news. She said, then Tika, me listen radio this morning, I'm not hear your name
Tika.
called.
Oh, yes.
So if you're not at the
Tika.
7 o'clock news
Yes.
on RJR, you're
Yeah.
not on news. That's
Yes.
just my programming. Because of the task environment within which I operate,
Yes.
I can't switch off easily. I take stuff home mentally and emotionally. So I must confess, I'm not listening to a lot of evening radio. I tune into my favorite music, which is nothing that your audience listens to anymore. Depeche Mode, Madonna, Moby, Bob Marley, Peter Tosh,
God, you say
Jacob
Bob.
Miller. No, because that's my natural rhythm.
Yeah.
And I am the oldest fan of TikTok. I cannot get enough of TikTok. I was fretting when I heard about the ban because I was like, will the ban get rid of my favorite haunts on TikTok? It really hasn't. Well, the ban didn't materialize. But TikTok has done for this generation what the first radio station and the first radio transmission did for my grandparents' generation. Yeah.
It's showcased or given them a new avenue for information and one that's more digestible for their liking.
Yeah.
Guys, it's been a pleasure talking to you. We have another segment coming up and perhaps you'll get your friends to listen. The next segment of this broadcast will include audio dramas and plays meant to entertain, educate and assist in social and behavior change. As part of our World Radio Day celebration, CARIMAC seeks to amplify the medium that unites the world. Features in this presentation will include efforts by the Heart Foundation of Jamaica, written by award-winning Jamaican playwright Janet Morrison, another CARIMAC graduate.
Yes.
There'll be
Who got a BBC, one of her productions as a play of the year about 5 years ago on BBC. Yeah.
Called The Fisherman, if you're going to go looking for it. We'll have the BBC International Radio Playwriting Competition winner of 2023, Julian Neves from Trinidad. His piece will be shared. Then episode of Welcome to Night Vale, which is a twice-monthly podcast in the style of community updates. That's going to be brought to you. And my own production, shameless plug, Forged from the Love, that was done for part of my Communication for Social and Behavior Change degree, will be broadcast as well. We thank you for spending time with us today. Listen out, there'll also be student commercials featured in our live audio stream. Students who would have completed COM 1234 last semester, their commercials will be featured. We thank you and invite you to stay to listen to this expo and share the stream with your friends so they could also listen. On behalf of all of us here at CARIMAC, our director, Dr. Patrick Pendergrass, as well as our panelists, thank you for being here. We say happy listening and happy World Radio Day.
Thank you. Thank you for having us.
Families, brought to you by the Heart Foundation of Jamaica's Food Policy Program. So come in at this right now.
Mommy, how you so late?
Ah, girl, double shift. So where your father?
Sleeping. Anyway, I'm grumpy like. You and him vex?
It looks so.
Well, I need to fix it. I hate when I'm not talking.
I agree, darling.
Okay, night. Fix it.
What are your bed?
Night.
Boy, Angie, are the longest this me and him ever vex for. And it's an accident, you know.
Then what you tell me for? Tell him, here what you do. Gonna have a date night.
I can't barely drag myself one much as we go back out.
Then how are you there, girl? Date night at home are the latest lick since COVID.
The steam fisher talk to me. Boy, Jack on losing touch at all.
Neither you. You still know how to wrap me around your little finger.
Dogs. So what you think about the vlog? The committee at school was going so good, we don't want when we start back properly, we have to go from scratch.
That's true, man. Everybody have to rope in to make the school nutrition policy work.
Most of the subscribers is parents. So me and Angie said the more of them that know the facts, the better. We will get more parents to make sure the canteen having the right things and that the vendor them a work with the program. Angie, I work hard for them, you see?
We not do a good thing. Can't fight that. Anyway, too much talking on this date night. You know, hear music I play. I want to be your one and only subscriber.
That is tough. Come quick, Jen. Mark your father come film for go somewhere.
Look like we're going to learn to do this with self.
Same thing I tell ma.
Aye. Why we don't surprise them and go live instead? What you tell Marco?
Okay, hold on. Alright, you should be live now.
Alright. Hey, anybody on the live? Whoa, wow. Come yes, man, come. Wanna get the notification quick. What, so much I know? Hey, alright, Jen, going night.
Alright, thank you all for joining. When my pregnant ladies them there, wanna ready for your wicked recipe? But not now, Marco.
Oh, it's my phone. It crashed.
Ready for the embarrassment.
They say the road to success is never an easy one. Will Angie and Rosie ever get their YouTube journey going smoothly? Join us again for another episode as the drama continues on Coming a This, brought to you by the Heart Foundation of Jamaica's Food Policy Program. Give us high-end black octagon warning labels on the front of the package, not the back.
Congratulations, class of 2025.
I wouldn't have gotten this degree without Unisync. Honestly. Same. Especially with the amount of clashing classes I had. Revolutionize your study success with Unisync, where studying is made easy. With interactive quizzes, collaborative study systems, and a user-friendly interface, acing exams has never been this easy. Get the Unisync app today on your Google Play Store or App Store.
When life throws you a curveball, Dyer Cooperative is here to catch it. With our reliable insurance plans, you'll have peace of mind knowing you're covered. From home and auto to health and business, we've got you covered every step of the way. Join the Dyer Cooperative family today because you deserve the best protection. Dyer Cooperative, insurance you can trust.
Bad plumbers, leaky pipes and faucets, say no more with HydroGrip. Even the strongest pipes wear down over time, leaving your bathrooms and kitchen a mess. HydroGrip seals those leaks with our patented fast-drying putty. Simply tear, mold, and press to watch your water problems dry away. Purchase now from your local hardware or retail for the grip that holds.
The desert seems vast, even endless. And yet, scientists tell us that somewhere, even now, there is snow. Welcome to Night Vale. The Night Vale Tourism Board's Visitable Night Vale campaign has kicked off with posters encouraging folks to take their family on a scenery-filled jaunt through the trails of Radon Canyon. Their slogan, "The view is literally breathtaking." Posters will be placed at police stations and frozen yogurt shops in nearby towns, along with promotional giveaways of plastic sheeting and rebreathers. And now, the news. Have any of our listeners seen the glowing cloud that has been moving in from the west? Well, John Peters, you know, the farmer, he saw it over the western ridge this morning. Said he would have thought it was the setting sun if it wasn't for the time of day. Apparently, the cloud glows in a variety of colors, perhaps changing from observer to observer, although all report a low whistling when it draws near. One death has already been attributed to the glow cloud. But listen, it's probably nothing. If we had to shut down the town for every mysterious event that at least one death could be attributed to, we'd never have time to do anything, right? That's what the sheriff's secret police are saying, and I agree. Although, I would not go so far as to endorse their suggestion to run directly at the cloud, shrieking and waving your arms just to see what it does. The Apache Tracker, and I remind you that this is that white guy who wears the huge and cartoonishly inaccurate Indian headdress, has announced that he has found some disturbing evidence concerning the recent incident at the Night Vale Post Office, which has been sealed by the City Council since the great screaming that was heard from it a few weeks ago. He said that using ancient Indian magics, he slipped through council security into the post office and observed that all the letters and packages had been thrown about as in a whirlwind. That there was the heavy stench of scorched flesh. That the words written in blood on the wall said, "More to come, and soon." Can you believe this guy said he used Indian magics? What an asshole. Here's something odd. There is a cat hovering in the men's bathroom at the radio station here. He seems perfectly happy and healthy, but it's floating about 4 feet off the ground next to the sink. Doesn't seem to be able to move from its current hover spot. If you pet him, he purrs, and he'll rub on your body like a normal cat if you get close enough. Fortunately, because he's right by the sink, it was pretty easy to leave some water and food where he could get it. And it's nice to have a station pet. Wish it wasn't trapped in a hovering prison in the men's bathroom, but listen, no pet is perfect. It becomes perfect when you learn to accept it for what it is. And now, a message from our sponsors. I took a walk on the cool sand dunes, brittle grass overgrown, and above me in the night sky, above me I saw bitter taste of unripe peaches and a smell I could not place nor could I escape. I remembered other times that I could not escape. I remembered other smells. The moon slunk like a wounded animal. The world spun like it had lost control. Concentrate only on breathing and let go of ideas you had about nutrition and alarm clocks. I took a walk on the cool sand dunes, brittle grass overgrown, and above me, in the night sky above me, I saw. This message was brought to you by Coca-Cola. The City Council, in cooperation with government agents from a vague yet menacing agency, is asking all citizens to stop by the Night Vale Elementary School gymnasium tonight at 7 for a brief questionnaire about mysterious sights that definitely no one saw and strange thoughts that in no way occurred to anyone, because all of us are normal, and to be otherwise would make us outcasts from our own community. Remember, if you see something, say nothing, and drink to forget. The Boy Scouts of Night Vale have announced some slight changes to their hierarchy, which will now be the following: Cub Scout, Boy Scout, Eagle Scout, Blood Pact Scout, Weird Scout, Dreadnought Scout, Dark Scout, Fear Scout, and finally, Eternal Scout. As always, sign up is automatic and random, so please keep an eye out for the scarlet envelope that will let you know your son has been chosen for the process. This is probably nothing, listeners, but John Peters, you know, the farmer, he reports that the glow cloud is directly over Old Town Night Vale and appears to be raining small creatures upon the earth. Armadillos, lizards, a few crows, that kind of thing. Fortunately, the animals appear to be dead already, so the Night Vale Animal Control Department has said that it should be a snap to clean those up. They just have to be tossed on the Eternal Animal Pyre in Mission Grove Park. So if that's the worst the glow cloud has for us, I say go ahead and do your daily errands. Just bring along a good, strong umbrella, capable of handling falling animals up to, say, 10 pounds. More on the glow cloud as it continues to crawl across our sky. And hey, here's a tip. Take your kids out and use the cloud's constantly mutating hue to teach him or her the names of colors. It's fun, and it shows them the real-life applications of learning. Alert! The sheriff's secret police are searching for a fugitive named Hiram McDaniels, who escaped custody last night following a 9 p.m. arrest. McDaniels is described as a 5-headed dragon, approximately 18 feet tall, with mostly green eyes and weighing about 3,600 pounds. He is suspected of insurance fraud. McDaniels was pulled over for speeding last night, and the secret police became suspicious when he allegedly gave the officers a fake driver's license for a 5'8" man named Frank Chen. After discerning that Frank Chen was actually a 5-headed dragon from somewhere other than our little world, the secret police searched McDaniel's vehicle. Representatives from local civil rights organizations have protested that officers had no legal grounds to search the vehicle. But they ceded the point when reminded by secret police officials that our backwards court system will uphold any old authoritarian rule made up on the fly by unsupervised gun-carrying thugs of a shadow government. The secret police say McDaniels escaped custody by breathing fire from his purple head, and he was last seen flying and shrieking over Red Mesa. Secret police are asking for tips leading to the arrest of Hiram McDaniels. They remind you that, if seen, he should not be approached, as he is literally a 5-headed dragon. Contact the sheriff's secret police if you have any information. Ask for Officer Ben. Helpful tipsters will earn 1 stamp on their Alert Citizen card. Collect 5 stamps, and you get stop sign immunity for 1 year. And now, a look at the community calendar. Saturday, the public library will be unknowable. Citizens will forget the existence of the library from 6 a.m. Saturday morning until 11 p.m. that night. The library will be under a sort of renovation. It is not important what kind of renovation. Sunday is Dot Day. Remember, red dots on what you love, blue dots on what you don't. Mixing those up can cause permanent consequences. Monday, Louis Blasco is offering bluegrass lessons in the back of Louis's music shop. Of course, the shop burned down years ago and Louis skipped town immediately after with his insurance money, but he sent word that you should bring your instrument to the crumbled, ashy shell of where his shop once was and pretend that he is there in the darkness teaching you. The price is $50 per lesson, payable in advance. Tuesday afternoon, join the Night Vale PTA for a bake sale to support Citizens for a Blood Space War. Proceeds will go to support neutron bomb development and deployment to our outer solar system allies. Wednesday has been canceled due to a scheduling error. And on Thursday is a free concert. And that's all it says here. New call in from John Peters, you know, the farmer. Seems the glow cloud has doubled in size, enveloping all of Night Vale in its weird light and humming song. Little League administration has announced that they will be going ahead with the game, although there will be an awning built over the field due to the increase in size of the animal corpses being dropped. I've had multiple reports that a lion, like the kind you would see on the sun-baked plains of Africa, or a pea-stained enclosure at a local zoo, fell on top of the White Sand ice cream shop. The shop is offering a free dipped cone to anyone who can figure out how to get the thing off. The sheriff's secret police have apparently taken to shouting questions at the glow cloud, trying to ascertain what exactly it wants. So far, the glow cloud has not answered. The glow cloud does not need to converse with us. It does not feel as we tiny humans feel. It has no need for thoughts or feelings of love. The glow cloud simply is. All hail the mighty glow cloud. All hail. And now, slaves of the cloud, the weather.
Waiting for the bus in the rain, in the rain, waiting for the bus in the rain. Waiting for the bus in the rain, in the rain, waiting for the bus in the rain.
Waiting for the bus, where is the bus? The bus is late. Waiting for the bus in the rain, when the bus come, where the bus at? Got my bus pass, bus is much better than a train, take phone pictures while I'm waiting at the bus stop. Bus not here while the bus so late. I'm waiting for the bus in the rain, wishing I was on the bus when the bus drive around your state. Oh, good, it come the bus, oh shit, it's a different bus, not the right bus, not the bus I need. Now I'm waiting for the bus in the rain at another stop, bus ain't got a real high speed. Waiting for the bus, took a picture of another bus. Waiting for the bus in the rain, I've been waiting for the bus since the sun came up, but the sun ain't out no more cause it's gray. Waiting for the bus, there's a gray one, blue one, a red one, all of them turned away. I've been waiting for the bus, gotta catch a bus, gotta watch news, got a regimen and plan for the day. Bus.
Waiting for the bus in the rain, in the rain, waiting for the bus in the rain. Waiting for the bus in the rain, in the rain, waiting for the bus in the rain.
Now there's other people waiting at the bus stop. Hey, where's your bus pass, boy? When you're waiting for the bus in the rain, have your bus pass ready. All the people on the bus get annoyed. I'm waiting for the bus like I do every day on my way home. Waiting for the bus in the rain, at least on the days when it's raining. And I'm waiting for the bus cause the other days ain't the same. Sweet. Waiting for the bus so hard sometimes when the bus come late to the stop. Waiting for the bus in the rain, man, I prefer sunshine. Should be waiting for the bus with a mop. That's a joke. Do you get it? Hey, where are you going? I thought you were Oh, cool, there it is.
Sorry, listeners. Not sure what happened in that earlier section of the broadcast. As in, I actually don't remember what happened. Tried to play back the tapes, but they're all blank, and smell faintly of vanilla. The glow cloud, meanwhile, has moved on. It is now just a glowing spot in the distance, humming east to destinations unknown. We may never fully understand or understand at all what it was and why it dumped a lot of dead animals on our community. But And I'm going to get a little personal here. That's the essence of life, isn't it? Sometimes you go through things that seem huge at the time, like a mysterious glowing cloud devouring your entire community. While they're happening, they feel like the only thing that matters, and you can hardly imagine that there's a world out there that might have anything else going on. And then the glow cloud moves on, and you move on, and the event is behind you. And you may find, as time passes, that you remember it less and less, or absolutely not at all in my case. And you are left with nothing but a powerful wonder at the fleeting nature of even the most important things in life, and the faint but pretty smell of vanilla. Dear listeners, here is a list of things. Emotions you don't understand upon viewing a sunset. Lost pets, found. Lost pets, unfound. A secret lost pet city on the moon. Trees that see. Restaurants that hear. A void that thinks. A face half seen just before falling asleep. Trembling hands reaching for desperately needed items. Sandwiches. Silence when there should be noise. Noise when there should be silence. Nothing when you want something. Something when you thought there was nothing. Clear plastic binder sheets. Scented dryer sheets. Rain coming down in sheets. Night. Rest. Sleep. End. Good night, listeners. Good night.
Welcome to Night Vale is a production of Commonplace Books. It is written by Joseph Fink and Jeffrey Craner and produced by Joseph Fink. The voice of Night Vale is Cecil Baldwin. Original music by Disparition. All of it can be downloaded for free at disparition.info. This episode's weather was The Bus is Late by Satellite High. Find out more at satellite-high.com. Check out commonplacebooks.com for more information on this show, as well as our books on the unused story ideas of H.P. Lovecraft and what it means to be a grown-up. Today's proverb: men are from Mars, women are from Venus, Earth is a hallucination, podcasts are dreams.
My name is Julian Neves, and I am the winner of the BBC World Service British Council International Radio Playwriting Competition 2023 in the English as a First Language category. The Mighty Kobo is set in modern-day Trinidad and is a tale of identity, love, and memory set to the melodic tunes of calypso music and the pulsating sounds of stick fighting. Brian Gonzalez is a retired calypso singer who is spurred into reviving his career after news that his musical rival is to receive a national award. But his quest for glory is stymied by an unseen force that threatens to destroy him and everything that he loves. What happens when you try to be remembered by a world that has forgotten you? And what happens when you start forgetting yourself? A colorful slice of life dramedy, The Mighty Kobo takes a bird's eye view at one man's dreams and its repercussions for him and his family. What is the worth of a life, and what do we truly leave behind? The Mighty Kobo by Julian Marvin Neves.
When you finish, pull out the crossword for me. You know I like my crossword.
Sure. You see, they lock up Harry Lal again? That boy like a prison, yes?
He probably like the food.
Must be. You see this?
No. You have the papers. How I go see it?
Yeah, look at this. Look at this foolishness.
veteran Calypsonian Lord Morpheus to receive national award. Well, that's nice. I'm glad for him.
Like you gone mad too? How they go give you a national award? What he ever do for the country? He win a little title and another couple of tunes. That is all it take to win a national award? This country gone to the dogs, yes?
Brian, that is not nice. You should be happy for him. All you used to be friends.
I used to be his friend, but he was never mine. That's it. That's it.
What are you looking for, B? You know if you tell me, I could help you find it.
My hat. I'm looking for my hat.
It's on your head, love.
What? What the? I could have swear.
You going somewhere?
Oh, come. All these questions. Use the commissioner of police or what?
I just want to know so I can tell the police when you go missing.
Ha ha. Carlos. I'm going by Carlos.
Carlos? This hour? It's kind of late.
It's only after 6.
It's after 8.
Well, it's a Calypso tent running, not a daycare. You remember Calypso tent, right? The place where Calypsonians go and perform and people pay money to see them. Ring any bells?
Yes, dear. All the bells ringing, ring-a-ding-ding. But why are you going by Carlos tent for?
That is my business. Last time I checked, you was my wife and not my mother.
All right, sir. Sorry to mash your corn. I just asking because you know Shelley's supposed to be calling just now. You don't want to be here when he call? He's supposed to be telling us when he coming down.
As far as I'm concerned, he could stay right where he is. I ain't know what he coming down here for.
What you talking about? He coming down to see us, he parents.
Well, I don't want to see he.
Oh, Gombi, don't be childish.
Childish nothing. You know Sheila. You know and you're pretending like you don't know. It's best both of we keep separate because we just don't mix like oil and water.
No, like oil and oil. All you too much alike. That is why all you keep butting heads like 2 ram goats.
More like a ram goat and a mega kid.
Don't be like that, P. That is your one and only child. And at my age, you know, I'm not giving you no more.
One and only child you know about.
Behave.
When this ram goat was young, plenty lady goat wanted to get booked.
Well, a good thing I catch you and tie you to a post. All now you have enough kids running around to open a farm.
Them was good days, Shields. The dancer and the stick fighter like one of them storybook fairy tales.
I remember the first time I saw you. You walking the gale and you was glistening like one of them Greek gods.
Baby oil was cheap back then.
Hey, and you was stalking the ring like a tiger. You was the sexiest thing I ever laid my eyes upon. And then that masked stick fighter come out. The crowd went wild for him. He was big and tall and black and his face was like a beast. I didn't even know you then. But I was frightened for you.
The fella from Longdenville. Daniel? Oh, Damien, something with D. I can't remember right now.
Well, I remember the look on your face when you see him. You wasn't afraid at all.
But I had something to prove. To myself, to my father, to the world.
Kill him! What's his name?
That fella hit me so hard I thought a bomb exploded in my head. I really thought I was dead, especially when I see an angel come to me.
And you're still a smooth talker, eh?
I'm telling you, the only thing was missing was the wings. He might have won the fight, but I won the girl. So I think I come out on top.
Well, it's a good thing you stopped stick fighting after that because I don't think the soft head could have taken any more licks like that.
Yeah, writing Calypso seemed to be like the safer way to go.
And the mighty Cogruito arose from the ashes of the Gael.
Oh, Gom, look at the time. It's really getting late now. I have to go.
You still ain't tell me what you're going to check Carlos for, you know?
You're right. I never tell you.
B, I hope it don't have anything to do with this award thing, you know?
Don't worry your head, Angel, darling. I'm just going to have a drink with an old friend. A small lime.
And why are you carrying music papers?
You can't have a lime without music, and I really have to go.
Don't drink too much. And don't lime too late.
And when the judges ask me, where's the score? I will say, I am woman. Hear me roar.
Kaiso.
Well, I know you like it, but you really think it's good enough for Kaiso Maestros?
It is perfect. And you will fit in perfectly here.
Well, I don't want people to think you're only bringing me on because I'm your woman.
People talk because they have mouth. That's their business. Yes, you is my woman. But you is a good Calypsonian too. And it is the latter and not the former. Why I was telling everybody...
Oh, who's that at this hour?
I don't know. I told everybody to take close tonight for a private performance.
Carlos, I told you I don't want any special treatment.
I don't know what you're talking about. Hey, let me go and see who it is, huh? And if it's a thief, he's gonna be very disappointed.
Hey, Brian. Hey, Carlos, come. I know, come talk. I have business, boys. I have business.
All right,
come.
Brian. Christine Porter, this is Brian Gonzalez. You may know him better as the mighty Cocrico.
Yes, the Curry song, right?
No Curry favor. That was a real big hit.
My granny really liked that one.
Yeah, thanks.
The other hits too, like The Child Mother and Tobago Love. The girl is more snake than dove. She only giving me Tobago love.
Your song so good, it's best you did sing it, Carlos.
Nah, nothing could top the original.
Well, it's a pleasure to meet you, the mighty Kobo.
Mighty Cocrico.
Sorry, yes, mighty Cocrico. I don't know where I got Kobo from. I'm going to have to start charging you rent on that hand.
Oh, sorry. You just really remind me of someone.
You might have seen her on Soaring Stars. This young lady have real talent. She does sing like a songbird, and she does write like Shakespeare. And she's not too bad to look at either.
Oh, stop it, Carlos.
I just stating facts. And she's going to be the newest addition here at Kaiso Maestros.
Is that so? Well, congrats.
Thank you. All right, I need to catch up on my beauty rest to keep up my not so bad looks. Good night, Mr. Gonzalez, was it? Night, babe.
Drive safe.
Always. See you on Thursday night.
All right. See something you like?
What?
You staring at she like a zaboka you put to ripe.
I was? But you don't see it? Come on, you have to see it.
See what?
See what? That girl is the spitting image of Sheila when she was young.
She is? Well, now as you mention it, there is a passing resemblance.
Passing resemblance? She could be a twin sister, like one of them things, what you call it, a bottle ganger.
Doppelganger?
Yeah, that.
If you say so.
She young too. You always did like them young. She about what, 20, 21?
18.
18? You nearly get locked up.
Well, we both big people, so nothing to report. But I have a feeling you didn't come here this hour of the night to discuss my love life. What you have there?
These is the future. My future is time, Carlos. It's time. Time for me come back.
Okay. And what all this have to do with me?
What you mean? Kaiso Maestro are ready to come back to the tent.
You joking, right?
Joking? Why I gonna make a joke like that?
Brian, when last you perform? When last you even write a tune?
And I have some real good tunes on these sheets here. Some are my best. Take a read now.
It don't have anything to do with Lord Morpheus and that award they announced in the papers.
I don't want to hear nothing about that dirty, stinking dog and his stupid award.
Oh, Lord Brian, you still carrying that grudge. All you was real good. All you used to perform real nice together.
The only way I will be back on stage with he is if he's in a body bag and I dancing round it.
Nah, man. You must learn to forgive and forget.
Let he go to God for forgiveness. He ain't gonna find none from me. And I will never forget.
All right. You hold on to your grudge like a millstone round your neck. But moving from ancient history back to current events, I really can't bring you on at Kaizo Maestros. The tent real full. What about next year?
Not next year. I was here at the beginning. My blood and sweat mixed up in the mortar and the cement. You know, if Salamander was still running things, it wouldn't be so.
I tell you what, go and record a couple tunes. Professional, not in your bathroom. Then bring them and come and perform them.
No problem. I could do that in a week.
Well, come in Thursday then. We having a rehearsal with all the new people. Now, I can't make no promises.
In the old days, all it would take is a handshake from Salamander. But I'm still thankful. Thanks, boy Carlos. Mucho gracias.
You know I don't speak Spanish.
Yes, I remember the Spanish who don't speak Spanish.
But I do speak dollars quite fluently. And if you ain't making sense, I ain't bringing you on.
Don't frighten. Next week I will blow you and everybody else away.
Whatever you say. Speaking of blow, it's time we blow out of here. Electricity is money after all.
Of course.
Let me walk you out, sir.
Okay.
Come now.
But thank you, boy. Thank you. I'm grateful to you.
How the cocoa tea tasting, Shelly? You good?
Just like Ma used to make. Right, Ma?
This sweater coming out real nice. And this burnt orange will really bring out your summer tone.
I'm sure it will come out fine, Ma.
To keep you warm. I hear London does be real cold in the winter time.
Real cool, yeah.
And I'm glad to hear you're still talking Trini. I know people who go to the States for a week and come back chatting Yankee.
Well, I could turn it on and off, eh? Some Brits find it hard to understand us.
Well, they should learn. So, how long you staying for?
Just a couple weeks.
So short?
Yeah, I have a lot of things going on up there. Recording sessions, gigs, a couple collabs. It's been pretty busy. I will be busy while I'm here too. Meeting with musicians, doing some media interviews, plenty thing.
Well, I'm glad to hear things going well. And I'm sure your father will be glad too.
I'm not so sure about that.
I know he could be hard sometimes. But you know he love you and only wish the best for you. So where you staying?
At the house, yeah.
Papa, yo! You really doing well if you have halcyon money. Fancy! But you could have stayed here. I know it's not the halcyon, it's not the best, but it's still your home. I gotta fix up your old room.
You know why, Ma.
I know. But an old woman could still hope.
So you said Daddy went out?
Yeah. He just go out every night these days. And he don't tell me where he going.
You don't ask him?
Of course I does ask. Is getting the answer is the issue.
So you have no clue?
Well, the first night he said he was going by Carlos. But I'm not so sure if that is where he's still going.
Carlos?
You don't remember Carlos? He was a Calypsonian back in the day. The hangman. And he get that name because he used to hang plenty woman. He even was a track behind me. Yeah. I wasn't interested. I only ever had eyes for your father. Well, Carlos running Kaizo Maestros now, ever since Salamander passed. Your father took that one real hard.
Kaizo Maestros? That's where Daddy got his big start at?
Yes. Before that, he was trying to get into tents, but there wasn't farting on him. He was a skinny boy fresh off the boat from Tobago. He could barely hold a tune. Don't tell him I tell you that, though. And he didn't even have a name. Them days, you had to have a name and something catchy. Well, Shelley, Salamander, is he give him the name, the mighty Cocorico. Since your father come from Tobago and dies the national bird from Tobago.
I never knew that.
That the Cocorico is a national bird from Tobago?
No. About Daddy early Calypso days.
The glory days. And I feel now he trying to relive them.
What do you mean?
As I said before, he does be sneaking out all the time and not telling me where he going. And Mickey G always calling and asking for him. I feel your father went there and record something.
I actually have to check Mickey while I'm here about a new song. But this don't make sense. Daddy ain't pick up a mic in years. Why now?
I feel it have something to do with Lord Morpheus.
That old-time Calypsonian?
Yeah. He and your father came up together in Calypso Maestros, and they reached all the way to the Savannah. Calypso Monarch Finals. The biggest competition for Calypsonians. Your father had 2 songs, Tobago Love and Knock Curry Fever. For the performance of Tobago Love, he asked me to organize a dance for him, a belly dance. But you know, I never danced in front of so much people. You see, my mother didn't even know I used to do any dancing. She used to call them dancing girls loose girls. But I love my folk dance, even if I had to sneak out to do it. Dance the belly, we go dance the belly, aye, aye, aye. We go dance the belly. When your father asked me to dance for his big performance, we were still courting at the time, but I was madly in love with that man. I would have do anything for him. So I say yes.
And you danced?
Boy, I danced like never before. Well, after that, the cap was out of the bag. My mother wouldn't let me come back home. She said I was a harlot dancing away straight to hell. A real Jezebel. So your father run quick and marry me because he know I wasn't going to shack up. Not even with him.
You never tell me that story.
All I have is stories.
But what happened with the finals?
Well, despite your father's best efforts, Lord Morpheus took the crown and your father had to settle for second best. And he never forgive him. After that, 2 of them was worse enemies than cat and dog. Lord Morpheus even write a song making fun of your father called The Mighty Kobo. You know Kobo? The ugly black bird that does fly around and eat it dead thing? The Mighty Kobo was a big hit for Lord Morpheus, and your father quarreled about that song for years. Even after everybody forget about it, he even wrote a tack-back song called Lord Mucus. But it wasn't a big hit, and people only remember the Mighty Kobo.
Real bacchanal. I never knew Daddy had this epic rivalry. What they have to do with now?
Well, they announced a month ago that Lord Morpheus getting the Hummingbird Silver Medal in the National Awards. For culture, I believe. You should have seen your father's face when you read that in the papers. Like all the blood rush up in the head. He was blue vexed, and the way he carry on, it was like Lord Morpheus thieved his national award, like he thieved the monarch title for him, or so he claimed.
This rivalry sounds kind of petty to me.
It may be petty to you or to me, but it's a big thing to your father. He's not normally a grudgeful man, and he don't remember everything everybody do to him. Talk true, he don't remember much these days.
Daddy having problems remembering things?
Sometimes. He might forget where he put his house keys, or where he going. Had a night, he forget he had his hat on his head.
That sounds like a lot, ma. You had him checked out by someone?
Like a doctor? It's not that serious. I feel this whole award thing have your father tisic. And I presume he been going by Carlos begging him to get back into Calypso Maestros.
You think that will happen?
I don't know. Night B? You see Shelley reach?
Don't night beat me. Only I have nothing better to do than to shoo-shoo behind my back. I could see Sheldon right there. I am blind.
Night, Daddy.
Shelley says things going well in England. With his music. He was nominated for a Grammy Award, you know. Isn't that wonderful? And his new song topping the UK charts.
Well, I guess people go listen to anything these days.
I want you to listen to something, Daddy.
More of that gangster music. You know I don't like them thing. I'm fed up, tell you.
It's not gangster music. It's hip-hop.
Hip-hop, jippy pop, drip drop, lollipop. I really don't care. Right now, I'm real tired. And the only thing I want is to hear the sound of my own snoring.
My favorite nightly performance.
Jokes and more jokes. The female sprang along. Well, I will leave you two to entertain each other with your hip-hop and your jokey joke.
But I would really love if you could...
What happened? All that loud music mash up your eardrums? I say, I'm going in my bed. And by the way, while you in Sweet Tea and Tea, you ain't staying here, right?
Brian!
What happened? I just want to find out where my beloved son will be staying while he's here.
Thanks for your concern, Daddy. I know I'm not staying here.
He's staying at the Halcyon.
The top of the top. Well, I guess it's nothing but the best from Mr. Dope Beats.
You see me? I gone. I can talk to you later, mommy.
Mm-hmm.
What you watching me hard so for? What I do?
So, she just changed in front of everybody? Yeah, boy, in front of me, the band, the backstage crew, even the security guard.
What a thing!
I see some things in my time, yes? But out there is really different.
Evening, Carlos.
Hey, Brian. What are you doing here?
What you mean, what I doing here? I'm here for the rehearsal. Where everybody?
Brian, let me get another chair and another beer. You could take my seat. You know Observer, right? Or you could talk in the meantime.
Observer. 3 times Calypso Monarch. Of course.
Brian Gonzalez, the mighty Cocorico. No curry fever.
I'm fed up at that song now. They couldn't pay me $1 million to perform it again.
What do you mean? That is a big tune.
Yeah, too big. It's like it swallowed up my whole life. That is the only song everybody remember. Like I didn't put out 50 other songs. I don't want to be remembered for one song for the rest of my life.
Nah, man, it's a good political case, so informative and funny too. And the people like it. And what people remember is not as important as what you do.
You could say that. If I go online now, I could see your name twice on the Calypso Monarch.
No, thrice.
Yeah. That is what I say. Thrice. Look for my name. You ain't gonna see nothing because second best don't make it into the history books. You still out there traveling the world, making a big name for yourself. You're not like some of we old Calypsonians who had to beg for help in the papers because we can't pay we rent. Some months ago, I was walking on the promenade. I see the roaring tiger.
Tiger?
You remember he?
Of course I remember he.
He just sitting there. I tried to talk to him, but nothing getting through. He just mumbling to himself, and people just passing.
I'm sorry to hear that.
But you ain't know nothing about that. You flying in big plane and swimming in big pool, and everybody know your name, like chairs.
The fame thing is nice, but it's fleeting. And you know how Trinis are with their 9-day memory. You're big today, and they forget you tomorrow. And only if somebody from foreign big you up, then they remember you alive. Or when you're dead, they remember you were alive, and suddenly they want to give you an award. It have to be about more than fame. It have to be about more than that. It have to be about the music. So you get it out. Even if one person hear it, that is one person you touch with it.
Them is fancy words. But I don't think you understand where I'm coming from.
At the end of the day, your family is who will remember you, for better or for worse. You do right by them, the best father, the best husband, and that is better than any statue around the savannah.
I have a son. I raised him up to be a proud Trini, to love the red, white, and black. I even suffered to send him to England to study. But that was my mistake. Over there, he fall in love with the red, white, and blue of the Union Jack. He come back talking about how he want to be a rapper. A rapper. You hear that? Them fellas whose pants just be falling down and only jockey shorts showing. Only singing about a set of guns and drugs and have all set of half-naked birds gyrating in their videos. And he have a name too, you know. Dope Beats. Sound like a dancing drug dealer.
Dope Beats? Yeah, I heard some of his stuff. He's pretty good. You should be proud.
Proud? How I go be proud? The boy take all the talent and throw it away on this crap. All that helping Sweet TNT. That only helping he and he alone. And all the papers writing story about him and doing interview. Trini-born rapper nominated for Grammy Award. Whoop-a-dee-doo. Sellouts. Writing about sellout. And his songs playing all over the radio. But poor Calypsonians can't get 1 minute of airplay. Proud of that. That he take from this country and never give back. I could never be proud
You're
of that.
looking at the thing all wrong, man. You need to...
I thought we had another chair, but it lock up in storage with all the equipment. Here's your beer, Brian.
I don't want no beer. I want to know what's going on here. You tell me come tonight, and when I come, everything lock up and you're sitting down drinking beer with your partner. Is that joke or what? Or a papi show?
Brian, sit down now.
Sit down for what? Listen, I's a big man, you know. I'm not here for these primary school games.
All right. No need to get upset, man.
Okay, Brian. What day is it?
What kind of stupid question is that? It's Thursday.
Thursday, the what?
The 17th. Yeah, the 17th.
No, it's the 15th of October. You were supposed to come Thursday, the 17th of September. I haven't seen you in a month.
No, that can't be right. I just talked to you last week.
Last month? When you never showed up? I just thought you'd change your mind.
No, it was last week. I'm sure of it. I just can't lose a whole month.
It's okay, man. You need a ride home?
No. This is some kind of joke. Some kind of prank. You see, you, Carlos, you never wanted me back here. You was always jealous of me. You know what? I'll go talk to Salamander.
Brian, Salamander dead. He been dead a long time now.
What? Yeah, I know that. You trying to trick me again? Trying to confuse me? Well, it's fine. Don't hot up your head. Kaiso Maestros is not the only tent in Trinidad. I'm too good for this place anyhow. I was always too good.
All right, Brian. Whatever you say.
Yeah. You going to be okay?
Boy, I really know. I hope so.
Might be best we call it a night too, eh?
Yeah. The mood gets sour there.
Oh boy.
Did we clear out everything?
Oh boy. Thanks for the drink.
This tune sounding good, you know. Real good. I like it. A real banger.
Yeah, Mickey, I really like how it come out too. And I really feel it represents who I am and where I come from.
Yeah, Shelly, I get in the Trini vibe and the UK vibe. Sheldon the superstar, yes. Who knew the big-head boy used to run me down the yard would one day be nominated for a Grammy?
I was a boy in love back then, huh? But you never give me a chance.
Back then I was on books, not boys.
Well, Michaela, you know what they say? No time like the present.
Don't Michaela me. You must be mad. For you to swell up my belly and then run back to London to be a professional deadbeat dad? I'm not about that life. And speaking about fathers, you played this tune to your father yet?
I tried. I've been trying. But he keeps shutting me down.
Yeah, your father could be stubborn.
You're telling me? You forget I lived with that man for 20 years or what?
That's true. He was here last month, you know. Wanted to record a bunch of songs. Said he was going up for Monarch. He was real excited and excitable. Wouldn't take no for an answer. I let him record a couple. Wasn't too bad. Pretty similar to what he put out before. But I give him a bly because my father always liked his music and used to produce for him.
Oh.
And you know he still ain't pay me for the recordings yet. And he ducking my calls.
Bloody hell. But I ain't know that was going on. How much it is? Let me cover it.
Well, speak of the devil.
Mickey, I need... Sheldon? What you doing here?
Hey, Dad. I was just playing a song for Mickey, getting her thoughts. The same song I've been asking you to listen to since I came.
Yeah, later. I come to talk business. Mickey G, this is it. Forget them other songs. On this CD is the song. This is the one taking me straight to the crown.
Well, unfortunately, Mr. Gonzalez, I can't forget about those other songs because you haven't paid for them yet.
What are you talking about? I pay you already?
You haven't paid anything. Not a red dollar.
I know I pay you. I remember paying you.
When?
When what?
When did you pay?
I can't remember when. I remember putting the money in your hand. You calling me a liar or what?
Well, hold on, Daddy. Nobody calling anybody anything like that. And Mickey, just tell me how much it costs and I will handle it.
Nah. You feel you's the parent and I's the child now? Like the table's turned?
I'm just trying to help.
Well, why don't you help yourself out of this conversation? I need your help, and I definitely don't need your money from your ragga gangster music.
But Shelley is really good, Mr. Gonzalez. I think you would really like his new track.
Mickey, maybe...
Nah. I tell you, I'm not here for that. I'm here to talk about real music.
Just listen to it. I have a feeling you will like what you hear.
Fine. If it will make you happy and we could get back on track with the real business, I will listen to his little song.
Mickey, I'm not sure now
Here you go, Mr. Gonzalez.
What the hell is this?
It's a remix of your song, No Curry Favor. I call it Curry Legacy.
Yes, I know my own song. I want to know, what is this?
I added some new beats and my vocals to it, and a couple new verses and a bridge. I haven't released it yet, I just recorded it. But I wanted to include it on my new album.
It's a real banger, Mr. Gonzalez. You and your son together, an intergenerational banger, yeah!
Don't get in this. So, let me wrap my mind around what's happening here. You thief me song and go and add your bang bang gangster music to it, and then you want to come and play it for me like it's some kind of gift? You're not taking my music and spoiling it with this garbage. So just take that song and put it in the trash bin where it belongs.
Hey, not cool, Mr. Gonzalez.
I tell you, stay out of this, Randy.
Mickey.
What?
Mickey G? Michaela Greaves? You called me Randy. Randy was my father.
In fairness, you do have your father's square jaw, you know.
Shut up, big head.
Yeah, whatever, Randy, Mickey. Both of all you is leeches who was only bleeding poor Calypsonians out of their last dollar. Intergenerational leeches.
Hey, Daddy, that's not fair.
What is not fair is you stealing people's song behind their back. Since you gone foreign, only a set of nasty habits you pick up. But I didn't know stealing was one of them. You're sucking your teeth at me, boy. I will slap the spit right back in your mouth, you know.
Try it now.
All right, cool it, gentlemen. This is a professional business establishment.
I don't even know why I bother.
I don't know why either. You in jolly old England, living your high life, and you want to come down here and rub your big money in your poor parents' faces. And then you want to mess up my music and rub that in my face. I must look like a baby to you. Or Good Friday boobally to beat up.
You want to know what you look like to me?
Shelley, maybe we should.
No, Mickey. He needs to hear this.
Well, come on. And your name, man, now?
Yes, a name man. I don't need your permission for that. And I will tell you what you look like. You look like a man trapped in the past, trapped in a time warp, in a bubble. And you can't see nothing outside of that. Can't accept nothing outside of that. Right? So I didn't become a Calypsonian like you. But I get my love of music from you, even though you never share it. And so it sounds different, and so it's not Trini music, it's still my music. And will it kill you to say, good job, son? Well done, son. I support you, son. I'm proud of you, son. But you can't do that because the only person you've ever been proud of is yourself. You are a selfish, prideful, bitter man who will forever be remembered as a one-hit wonder.
You finished? Good. Now, you could take all your fancy clothes and your garbage music and your ungrateful, disrespectful backside and get the hell out of my house. And it's still my house. That will never change.
Mr. Gonzalez, you're not home. You're here at my studio, remember?
Daddy, you all right?
Boy, move your hand from me. You see me? Let me get out of here, yeah?
And he still didn't pay me the money for the recordings. What are you looking at, big head? I really wish you could come home, Shelley. I almost finished your sweater, you know. I would have finished it sooner, but I was busy with plenty of orders. Mr. Malcolm's daughter getting married, and I have to outfit the whole wedding party.
I don't know why you have to be working so hard, man. I could send you enough money to take care of you.
Nah, I like me sewing. It keep me young. I really don't like how you and your father leave things. I don't like it at all.
It is what it is, man. Some things just don't change. How are you doing now? You still forgetting things? Are you still wandering off in the night?
Shelley boy, he going from bad to worse. He forgetting what day it is. What he doing a few minutes ago. He only repeating himself over and over. Last week, I come home and the whole place smoky.
What happened?
He leave a pot on the stove and went to sleep. Nearly burned down the whole place. Language. But everybody all right. I caught it in time. Lost my good kitchen curtain though. And when I asked him about what happened, he said he know nothing about that. How I must leave it on and forget. Yeah, it getting real bad. Sometimes he does watch me like I's a complete stranger. And he does get suspicious too.
Suspicious? What do you mean?
He always accusing me of touching the things or taking the things and hiding it. But you know, I never touch your father things. I know how he does get on about that. He even accusing me of taking man. You believe that? Me, in my old age.
Look, it might be time to consider that place I was telling you about. You looked at it?
Yes, sir. I checked it out online. It looked nice. But how I could do that to your father after all these years? Wait, I hear him coming. I have to call you back. Love you, Shelley.
Love you too, man. Be careful.
Don't worry. You take care of yourself. Bye. Evening, B.
You was talking to somebody?
Just to Shelley. On the phone. He going good? He asked how you going.
Oh, sweet. If it was any sweet, I could put it in my tea. And I see you still making that sweater for him. I sure he don't have enough money to afford his own sweater, you know.
It have no better gift than one made with love. So how the performance went?
Good. Real good. Smooth and nice. Like falling in a latrine.
So it didn't go so well?
Nope. Another day, another rejection. I practiced the song so much. You saw how much I practiced? But I get up there and I just couldn't remember the lyrics. Like I had it and then it just slipped out of my head. I felt like a fool. It's carnival in 3 weeks and I still ain't getting to a tent.
I'm sorry, B.
I don't need your pity. I just get enough of that already from them so-called promoters.
It's been 4 months. You ain't think it's time to give up? Or at least try next year?
Next year, try next year. That sounds real familiar.
Mickey G called back again. She say you still owe her the money for the recordings. She says months now.
I pay she all the money. I don't know what she talking about. You see that little girl? That little girl is a stinking liar, just like she father.
But you have been a bit forgetful these days.
And you don't remember everything? I tell you, I pay she. I used to lump some money from a pension and I pay she. You happy now, Miss Investigator?
B, we used that money last year to fix the roof. Remember, it was leaking.
I feel your brain leaking. It's a madhouse I'm living in or what? It's crazy people are living with.
And B, I get a letter saying the mortgage payment's overdue.
I pay the mortgage too. Stop calling me B. Why you calling me that? Call me Cocorico, the mighty Cocorico. All you don't understand, none of all you. You, Carlos, Mickey G, Salamander, none of all you don't understand. This is my chance to be the best. That is what my father tell me. He's either he was the best or he was nothing. He was a champion stick fighter, you know. The best woman. So I wanted to be champion too. Show him I would be the best.
Yes, B. I remember.
When I lose that match, he laughed at me. Said I would always be second best. But he did like Calypso too, so I tell him I like to sing. So I could be Calypso monarch. He laughed at me again. He say, stay in Mariah and plant crop with him. Forget about Trinidad. Forget about them stupid dreams. But I didn't listen. I came to Trinidad. I became a Calypsonian and transformed into the mighty Cocorico. I soared like a bird, and the people, they would shout for me, clap for me, scream for me. No Corey favor! More Corey favor!
It was a good song, B. Real good song.
But he still laugh at me. You bastard still laugh at me. He say, I's a nobody Calypsonian. He say, I will never be a sparrow, never be a Kitchener. But when I become the monarch, I show him. This is my shot. Lord Morpheus is my only competition. I could take him out. And then I will be monarch. I will be champion. And the father can't laugh at me no more.
B, that is more than 20 years ago. Your father long dead, and that competition long gone, and Lord Morpheus win it. You had come second, which is still real good.
No. Why are you trying to confuse me? Why everybody trying to trick me? Just like Carlos. Carlos. I saw you with Carlos.
Brian, what are you talking about?
At Kaiser Maestro. You was there, hugging and kissing him right in front of me like a harlot. Just like your mother said.
You're talking crazy. I haven't seen Carlos in years.
I see the whole plan. Why all my outfits always missing? Why my music sheets always ended up in the bin? You and Carlos sabotage me. He was always jealous of me and never wanted me to be monarch. And he always wanted you, and you always wanted him. That boy, Sheldon, he is even my son. Or is Carlos' son?
B, this is madness. None of these things is true. I can't take this no more, Brian. I never know what you're going to do next. I never know if I can wake up and you're mashing up the TV or the whole house burned down. It's like living with two people, and one of them is a stranger, a madman. My hair falling out, and it was already thin to begin with. I can't take no more. I have no peace in my own house.
Well, if you want peace, then go by Carlos. Go by your man.
Carlos is not my man. He never was. You might have forget, but you know in your heart of hearts that I love you, B. That I never had eyes for any other man but you. You have to remember that. B, please.
Don't touch me. And stop calling me B. You're out.
In all my 63 years on this earth, no man ever hit me. Never. And that is the first and the last time you will ever hit me. I'm going to stay by my mother for a while. I ain't know how long. Could you move out the way, please? Please? Just move out of the way before I stab you with this needle!
Well, go ahead. Go. Yes, go. Go on. Go by Carlos. Go by your man. Go and hug him up and love him up.
You need help, B. You really need help.
you could help me by getting the hell out of my house. I don't need sheep. I don't need nobody. You feel I need a wife?
Portmore, Spanish Town. Are you tired of traveling to Kingston to get your beloved pumpkin spice latte?
Yes!
Well, you spoke and we listened. Starbucks is coming to your backyard on November 11 at Brayton Parkway. Be the first 50 persons in line and get your first 2 drinks free. It's a whole day affair with an exclusive live performance by Ed Sheeran.
Me after reach.
Make sure you're at Brayton Parkway on November 11.
Need a personalized gift that will make a statement? Are you too busy to go and get it? Wish you could order from anywhere in the world for your loved ones in Jamaica? Jamrock Island Gift Services has got you covered. We offer gifts for every occasion, birthdays, anniversaries, and graduation. You name it, we deliver. Customized gifts that will have you smiling. Call us at 876-315-3680 or visit our website, jamrockislandgiftservices.com. Jamrock Island Gift Services, gifts from the heart.
Tired of waiting in long lines at the pharmacy? Can't remember when to refill your prescriptions? With RX Pro services, you'll experience benefits of having a reliable pharmacy that is open 24/7 and medication synchronization, meaning you will be up to date on all your prescription refills. We also offer monthly health workshops for the community. RX Pro Pharmacy offers all your pharmaceutical needs, from bandages to prescription medication. We are located next to the RX Pro Apothecary on 72 Windheim Road. RX Pro Pharmacy. Have you taken your medication?
Keep we island clean. So clean. From the streets.
Meet Damien. He lives near the coast and regularly goes out in his canoe to catch fish. Today we meet him just as he's about to learn an important lesson.
Now dirty of Jamaica.
Ready for take on them fish now. Hey, the spot you look good.
Oi! Oh, you!
Who that? No, sir. Nobody can call me out here, sir. I'm the one out here.
Oh, you in the boat. Are you me a talk to you now?
No, sir. Don't you follow me? When the Bible says you must say when them thing happen to you, the Lord is my shepherd. I shall not want.
Calm down, man. Me is not a dopey. Look over here, sir.
Oh, what is father? I want pelican that. Are the pelican a ball out, sir?
Ah, me yes. Listen, me man. How uno you man so dirty? Why you just throw your garbage in the water, sir?
No, sir. Let me pinch myself, cause I must dream me a dream.
Answer me question. Why uno so dirty? Me tired of uno you man a pollute the place with uno garbage. You know, see Satan nasty up the place and a breed up rat and mosquito. It all a block up the mouth of the gully over there, so, and a cause pure flood and thing. The other day, me swear me see a nice fish floating in the water. Only if you take it up and realize it's a plastic bag, nearly choke me to death. All the fish them a migrate because of pure nastiness a come down the gully and I end up on the reef. And every day me see uno dash uno garbage in the gully like I know nothing.
I just one little buckle and a bullet bag me throw.
Garbage or garbage. It no matter how little. If all of uno throw away one buckle, the water now go full of garbage. The garbage you just dash away, or go wash up on the beach, block up the gully them, and kill off the fish them. Then you see them when you go complain about all the place look nasty, and no fish not about.
Never knew it was that serious. A one buckle.
Uno need fi think. Uno fi stop fling down uno garbage. You think so when you dash it down, and no your problem again? Say it gone away, but it not disappear. It's an island this. All it do, I go somewhere else. What you call away, I want place. And it a cause pure problem.
But sure, you fly gone. One pelican just fly down and cost me some dirty up Jamaica. And that does something. Comfort. If you go tell Eileen about that one here. house?
From the streets to the beach.
Did Damien really hear a pelican speak? What will he do about the pelican's message? Will things change for either of them? Stay tuned and find out on the next episode of No Dirty of Jamaica, brought to you by the Jamaica Environment Trust and sponsored by the Tourism Enhancement Fund.
No Dirty of Jamaica.
Are you too busy to go grocery shopping? Never fear. QuickCart is here. Introducing QuickCart Grocery Delivery app. Farm fresh ingredients from the supermarket right to your doorstep. Affordable delivery service in 3 simple steps. 1. Create your QuickCart account. 2. Upload your grocery list. And 3. Click order and relax. We'll handle the rest. Make life delicious from the comfort of your home, at work, or on the go. Download the QuickCart app today and let us do the shopping for you. QuickCart. Grocery shopping made simple.
They say talk is cheap. Why not make it cheaper?
Save up to 15% compared to other networks with our $9.99 summer special.
With Ultra Mobile,
get unlimited talk and text on Jamaica's fastest 5G network.
Traveling abroad? No worries. Our Swift plan makes roaming as easy as 1, 2, 3.
No more abruptly failed phone calls.
And certainly no hidden fees. Switch or sign up now to get the peace of mind you deserve.
You deserve more. You deserve Ultra.
For more information, visit us at ultramobile.jm.
Lunch is ready. Come and eat. I put your plate on the table.
I'm coming, Lucille. I think I've got it.
You got it? What do you mean, Pat? Come, darling, your food is getting cold.
I changed the lines and will submit this version for the Trinidad and Tobago National Anthem competition. I think it would be perfect.
Oh, you mean the Federation song? You think they will use it, even though the Federation has collapsed?
Lucille Hon, I found a way. The words are different now, more in line with the Twin Island. So forged from the depth of slavery becomes forged from the love of liberty. And the line about hands joined across the sea becomes islands of the Caribbean Sea.
Well, Pat, it sounds like you have it all figured out. I know how much you love the song. I do hope it wins. Do you think many people will send in entries?
Well, Dr. Williams made quite the appeal for persons to get involved in the building of an independent Trinidad and Tobago. I think Gregory mentioned he was going to submit a song and a few other persons too. Seems everyone wants to make a mark and is answering the call. Time will tell.
Indeed, I'm rooting for you.
Weather is actually good in London today. I could have left my umbrella at home. Oh well.
Patrick? Patrick! Hey, Castani, that is you? I'm so glad to see a familiar face in this place.
Well, if it isn't Leonard Henry. What you doing out here in the Queensland, boy?
Pat boy, it's my brother and sister come to look for him and see the sights. So, Rich, what about you? How the big work in the High Commission going? The Ghanaians born in the Trinidad High Commission. You treating you good?
Len, work is work, yes? Going well so far, but remember, I've been here 2 years already, so I'm well settled in. What's the word on the ground in Trinidad? People excited about independence?
Well, the whole country buzzing. Kupalani is planning to give away the national flag for free so people can decorate their home. They say we might get television signal in time for August instead of November. The USA, they will help with equipment for that too. Plenty happening. I just glad people stop saying it would be better if we stay British. Bunch of backsliders, yes?
I've been getting some of the latest. But that is a whole heap of good news, man. It's a fine time we take this step on our own, especially now that we know the federation not happening, man. I put together a song for the anthem competition. I'm hoping to get some word out on that soon.
Well, you is a big composer. I surely tune nice. I remember when I heard Dot Evans singing Kiss Me for Christmas. And then to learn is my classmate from St. Mary's, good old Pat Castani that wrote it. I was real proud. And that Lord Melody, the Iceman song, from just the other day in 1960, make Mellow international. Pat, I must say you have a way with those lyrics, man.
Thanks, Len. The support means a lot. It's an exciting time in Trinidad and Tobago. I'm running late, boy, Len. Give me a call while you're still here. We could meet up again. I am sure Lucille would love to see you. Maybe Sunday for lunch?
Definitely. I'll call you at the High Commission office tomorrow. Till then, Pat.
Take care, Len.
Good morning, Trinidad and Tobago High Commission Office. How may I help you? Yes, our Public Relations Officer, Mr. Castani, is in. Who may I say is calling? Oh, one moment please while I transfer the call. Mr. Castani, I have the Premier's office on line 1.
I can take the call, Cynthia. Thank you. Patrick Castani speaking.
Good day, Mr. Castani. My name is Marilyn Henderson, Public Information Officer at the Premier's office. I'm calling to officially notify you that your song, Forged from the Love, has won the Trinidad and Tobago National Anthem Song Competition. Cabinet made the choice. Senator Donald Pear handed the sealed envelope to Dr. Williams, and he made the announcement last evening, August 9th, live on Radio Trinidad.
Thank you for the call, Miss Henderson. I am truly honored.
You may already know, Mr. Castani, that the award consists of $5,000 in government bonds and a gold medal inscribed with the coat of arms.
Oh my. Thank you, Miss Henderson. Would you happen to know if there were many entries?
I believe I do have that information. One moment, please. Oh, here it is. There were 834 word entries, 33 music entries, along with 306 word and music entries.
Well, this indeed makes the honor all the more special. Thank you again, Miss Henderson.
You're welcome, Mr. Castani. I was also asked to tell you that the Premier will call you at home this evening to offer his personal congratulations. Enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you again, Miss Henderson. I will expect his call. What a day. What a life. Who would have thought I would be the guy that wrote Trinidad and Tobago's national anthem? Me, the little boy that came from Guyana, who just a few years ago was helping produce the Dimanche Gras show, was in the army, worked customs office, Radio Trinidad, Angostura, that I would be the person that wins this competition out of over 1,000 entries. What a blessing from the islands, where every creed and race finds an equal place.
Apply now for an undergraduate degree in animation, film or journalism at the Caribbean School of Media and Communication at the University of the West Indies, Mona. For more information, Visit www.mona.uwi.edu/apply.